on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, staff ordered out of the head offices of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities following significant health concerns.
Water lock-offs to take effect across Kingston and St. Andrew come Monday.
The Transport Minister says only one opposition MP has attended the pre-launch meetings for the Rural School Bus Program.
The only member of parliament on the opposition side that attended was the outgoing member of parliament, Maurice Guy, not one other rural MP.
Special needs student welcomes rural school bus program.
Lisa Hanna under fire on social media over posts she made that appear to associate the JLP's Robert Morgan with a gorilla.
In news from the rest of the world, El Salvador and U.S. negotiate prisoner swap with Venezuela.
Donald Trump files a lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch and Wall Street Journal reporters.
In headline sports, Jamaica ends regional under-19 cricket tournament with impressive victory over Trinidad and Tobago.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, DPP Paula Llewellyn says sexual offense cases are outnumbering murder cases in the courts. How is the police dealing with the high number of sexual offense matters? Senior communications strategist at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, SSP Dennis Brooks, will tell us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, ahead of the crowning of Vybz Kartel at Sumfest, who is your king of dancehall? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, water conservation measures are to take effect across sections of Kingston and St. Andrews starting on Monday. The acting corporate public relations manager at the NWC, Delano Williams, will bring us the very latest on the coming restrictions.
At 7, Trinidad and Tobago has declared a new state of emergency due to a plot by criminal network operating in prisons to kill key government officials. Senior multimedia journalist for TV6 Express, One Caribbean Media, Alexander Bruzal, will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, it's our favorite day of the week. It's Friday, July 18, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. An occupational safety and health assessment has found significant hazards at the head offices of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. The assessment, which was conducted earlier this year, found mold and fungus growth, high levels of humidity, a strong stench of sewage, poor ventilation, loose electrical wiring, and poorly maintained infrastructure throughout the building. The report is raising questions about the level of attention being paid to a building that serves more of, or that should be served some, of the country's most vulnerable citizens. Ricardo Brooks reports.
Nationwide News has seen a copy of the Environment and Health Assessment. It was conducted in February and the report was submitted in March this year. It paints a picture of a very sick building at 10 Ripon Road in St. Andrew. It was the second assessment being done following one in January. After staff complaints, the Kingston and St. Andrew Health Department moved in to assess the situation. On multiple floors throughout the building, the assessment team found poor air quality and strong offensive odors, including sewage. The odors were so strong, they resulted in respiratory discomfort, eye irritation, and fatigue. Of particular concern was that the levels of carbon dioxide concentration exceeded the acceptable limit in at least one section of the building dedicated to client care and rehabilitation. At high levels, carbon dioxide can cause unconsciousness and other serious health concerns. Staff were also exposed to what's described as chemical exposure from printing equipment and the growth of mold. The growth of mold was so extensive, it was observed in toilets at the offices that serve members of Jamaica's disabled community. This is particularly concerning since several of the users of the building would be visually impaired. The roofs were also said to leak during periods of rainfall. Not even the water cooler in the building was being maintained to adequate standards. The seating in the reception area of the building was observed to be unable to control infections. There was also no hand washing station in the building's rehabilitation area. The assessment warned that unless the matter was urgently corrected, a wide range of health issues were expected to continue to plague staff and those using the facility. The report concluded that there are ongoing environmental health concerns at the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. It concludes by describing the persistence of the issues identified as troubling and warns that if they're not promptly and effectively addressed, there is a significant risk of public health implications. The Occupational Health and Safety Report is particularly damning as the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities falls under the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. That ministry has responsibility for occupational health in the country. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, 4 months after the completion of the health assessment report, the executive director of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, Dr. Christine Hendricks, has ordered staff out of the sick building. In a memorandum issued today, July 18, Dr. Hendricks announced work-from-home arrangements and a relocation of specific offices to what's described as safer areas within the building. Those areas were not identified. The executive director has also advised staff that deep cleaning would be conducted at 3-month intervals until new furniture was procured. It's not immediately clear why this directive took 4 months to be issued. Dr. Hendricks has also advised staff that a new office location would be sought by October 1 this year. The building's landlord is also said to have conducted their own air quality tests. Those results are not yet available. The permanent secretary in the Labour and Social Security Ministry has been made aware of the issues.
Water conservation measures will take effect across sections of Kingston and St. Andrew come next Monday. This is due to ongoing drought conditions which are expected to linger until October. The National Water Commission, the NWC, says the lock-offs will run on intervals from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 12 noon, and 12 noon to 6 p.m. Customers who rely on the Mona network will be affected next Monday starting at 6 a.m. Those restrictions will run through to 6 p.m. For customers of the Hope network, that supply will run alternately from 6 a.m. to 12 noon to 6 p.m., as well as 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in some communities. The NWC says those who rely on the Constant Spring network will be affected come Wednesday, July 23. That restriction will run from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., while the lower section of Constant Spring will run on to... The restriction will run from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., while the lower section of Constant Spring will run from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. interval. The NWC says the decision follows significantly reduced inflows to its major water storage facilities. It says currently the storage levels at the Mona Reservoir and Hermitage Dam declined to approximately 46% and 58% respectively. The current regulations are expected to remain in place until rainfall conditions improve. Customers are encouraged to store water for use outside of the scheduled supply hours and to practice conservation measures where possible. You can find the full arrangements for restrictions on our social media pages and website.
Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says only one opposition member of parliament has attended the pre-launch meetings for the rural school bus program. Minister Vaz made the statement while speaking on Cliff Hughes Online on Friday.
I've just finished the third consultation on the rural school bus system this morning, having had the other two. I broke it down into counties, the three counties, Cornwall, Middlesex and Surrey. We did the last one this morning, just completing a short while ago, where we invited all councillors and members of parliament to widen the stakeholder consultation so that the representatives would be aware and be in a position to advise their constituents of the intricacies of the rollout in September. The only member of parliament on the opposition side that attended was the outgoing member of parliament, Maurice Guy, who attended the meeting yesterday, which was his meeting. Not one other rural MP.
The government's rural school bus program, set to be launched in September, has been met with criticism by the opposition. PNP leader Mark Golding described the buses as old, while opposition Senator Peter Bunting told PNP supporters that the buses would, quote, kill off poor people Pitney. Minister Vaz says Mr. Golding has also failed to attend any of the pre-launch meetings for the program. According to him, the lack of attendance by rural opposition MPs is either a boycott or proof of their lack of concern for their constituents.
I want to make the point that either this is a silent protest, in some cases as it relates to this, or it's simply just a complete disregard for the importance of this transformative initiative and the impact that it's going to have on rural communities that are served by rural MPs. It brought home to me when you replayed the clips of the banter on the platforms and what is taking place now with the implementation. And I just believe it is my duty to bring to the attention of your listenership and the wider country that we are doing everything that we need to do to sensitize, to include.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister.
Meanwhile, a wheelchair-bound student who attends Bel-Air High School in Manchester is hailing the government's rural school bus program as a life-changer. The student, Anissa Allen, who boarded the disabled-friendly bus today, says she finally feels secure and included during the ride to school.
I found it very comfortable and I felt secure in it, like I won't fall or anything. I just want to say a big thank you to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, for providing this kind of bus system that facilitates my disability in the form of using a wheelchair. I'm so happy I will be able to attend school for the school term knowing that I have a permanent transportation where I feel more confident, comfortable and secure.
The rural school bus program is set to roll out across several parishes come September. The long-awaited program forms part of the government's plan to provide safe and affordable transportation for students across rural parishes. Young Anissa detailed the difficulty of traveling to and from school using public transportation due to her wheelchair. She says at times she had to miss out on some classes.
Sometimes it's not too comfortable, like sometimes it's like there's a lot of people because most times it's like public transportations and like I take longer to reach home sometimes. Sometimes they're taxis, so sometimes they can't bring me every day to school. So sometimes I have to stay home.
That's Anissa Allen, a student of Bel-Air High School. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, Member of Parliament for South East St. Anne, the PNP's Lisa Hanna, has come under fire on social media after she made a post that appeared to associate North Central Clarendon MP, the JLP's Robert Morgan, with a gorilla. The The issue has dominated X, with several users accusing Ms. Hannah of being classist. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The exchange between Morgan and Hannah on X began when Morgan, the Works Minister, responded to a Jamaica Observer article about users of the North-South Highway now being able to top up online as they traverse the thoroughfare. This follows the launch of a new online e-pass platform by the highway's operators, Jamaica North-South Highway Company Limited, JNSHC. In 2017, Hannah was involved in a viral incident where she lamented her treatment by a toll booth operator who refused to allow her to exit the highway because she didn't have enough cash to pay the toll. Hannah offered to pay the balance with her credit or debit card, but, in the face of steadfast refusal from the toll booth agent, had to wait for a friend to bring her cash. Morgan posted a photo of Miss Hannah, accompanied by a laughing emoji, in response to the Observer's tweet about the move by the JNSHC to now accept online payments to use its toll road. Hannah didn't see the funny side. In a post on X, she told Morgan that she hopes a recent Blue Dot poll, which shows him well ahead of his PNP rival in North Central Clarendon, is indeed correct. Hannah attached to the tweet a picture of a gorilla sitting with headphones on behind a microphone. This is the audio that accompanied the image.
Me just grab him by the collar, you see, and me say, listen to me, zookeeper boy. Me just grab him by the collar, you see, and me say, listen to me, zookeeper boy.
Hannah then wrote a lengthy follow-up post in which she registered her displeasure with Morgan's post, telling him she's retired from politics. She said, quote, "When one becomes so arrogant, so enamored with their own perceived infallibility, that they publish internal party poll numbers instead of waiting for actual election results," end quote. She continued, quote, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That was the moment the farce was laid bare, and in the end, the pigs weren't toppled by rebellion, but by the rot of their own arrogance," end quote. Hannah ended her response to Morgan stating, quote, "A word to the wise is sufficient. Please leave me out of the campaigning. Not my circus, not my monkey. I've retired," end quote. The monkey and use of imagery in audio she used appeared to irk many users on X. One user posted, quote, "Disappointed is beyond what many would call your actions. It's deplorable. You owe the minister and the country an apology," end quote. Another post stated, quote, "As a legislator, public figure, and someone who sought to be opposition leader and ultimately PM, your initial response was distasteful. The monkey reference is equally unfortunate. If we speak about arrogance, infallibility, etc., it is a good idea to self-reflect," end quote. The backlash continued with another user of X telling Hannah, quote, "Look at you writing an ode to oneself, a precautionary tale of how a vain, vapid, and disingenuous politician has fallen from grace," end quote. Another tweet described Hannah's response as distasteful, saying, quote, "This is a nasty response, literally using a gorilla to depict a black man. The response is unwarranted. We heard you were a horrible person. We see your true colors now," end quote. Hannah's response to Morgan has so far attracted about 60,000 views on X. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Jamaicans who owe $150,000 or less on their land titles could soon receive an amnesty. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness at a land title handover ceremony in Westmoreland today.
I have said to the chairman, examine your database for all the titles that are under $150,000 outstanding. And we are going to give an amnesty. So that will, I am certain, give a significant number of Jamaicans access to their titles. And I also use this platform to say to others who owe over the 150, come in and start paying. Let us settle this and get all the titles out there into your hands. You know why? Because the title gives you access to financing.
Dr. Holness says the land title amnesty forms part of the Jamaica Labour Party's election manifesto. Holness noted that many Jamaicans are unable to acquire land titles as the process may be challenging. He disclosed that through the government's assistance, more than 12,000 land titles have been issued up to June this year.
What we have done, we have put in a new way of titling, where we've put in an adjudication council, and it is called the systematic registration of land. It was done under my administration. It is an innovation in titling, and it has facilitated up to June 30th, 2025, so between April 1, 2021 and June 30th, 2025, we have issued over 12,240 titles under this system of systematic titling. We're going to expand the system now to take in areas like these, so people who are already occupying land can be a part of the systematic registration. And the good thing with this is that we pay for the land surveyor and the other fees, and over time you can pay back for that.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Paula Llewellyn says the sexual exploitation of children under the age of 16 remains a troubling and culturally ingrained issue in Jamaican society. She made the comments in light of two recent high-profile convictions involving adult men who sexually abused minors.
We are afraid to shine the light or to talk about it because a lot of it is cultural. There is a sort of subtext within the culture that says, after that I know nothing. It's just a little sex. And that is a cultural thing all over the country. Right now, if you talk to the average prosecutor at my office, it's something that has been very concerning. In St. Thomas, so you have 25 murder cases and you had 54 sexual offense cases just for this term that were handled. For the sexual offense cases, you had 27 rape cases, 1 burglary, 7 incest. Incest is another thing, another offense that we have seen rising as well. Councils in several parishes have told me that.
In one case, a 44-year-old man was found guilty of molesting and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter over several years. He was sentenced to more than 70 years in prison, but will serve 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. In another case, a 72-year-old man was convicted of raping his 3 step-grandchildren, aged 6 to 11. Although he received a combined sentence of 60 years, he'll serve only 10 years, as the sentences are to run concurrently. DPP Llewellyn says such cases highlight the disturbing reality that sexual abuse of minors continues to be normalized in some communities. She adds that the perpetrators are often known or related to the victims.
In Trelawney, it is well known there, the police will tell you. In Top Trelawney, the sexual offense cases that come there would seem to suggest that it's a rite of passage that is just known, just happens, and everybody looks the other way. Usually, it's neighbors, it's relatives, it's people right in the same yard. They're known within the community. So, I mean, it's all well and good for people to be alarmed and shocked when they see that story. I myself was alarmed. But when you look within their communities, within the particular arena that they operate, a lot of this is hidden or half hidden, or it is there in plain sight, but yet they look the other way because it's a part of the culture.
Paul Llewellyn, Director of Public Prosecutions.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
El Salvador is repatriating approximately 250 detained Venezuelans in exchange for U.S. nationals held in the country. The U.S. and El Salvador governments made the announcement today. The detainees are Venezuelan migrants deported from the U.S. and incarcerated in the notorious El Salvadorian Mega Center for the Confinement of Terrorism. El Salvador exchanged the prisoners for the release of 10 U.S. nationals from Venezuela. The plane load of migrants leaving El Salvador is scheduled to arrive in Venezuela later today. A senior U.S. administration official told reporters that with the release, there are currently no longer any U.S. nationals being held by the government of Nicolas Maduro. In a post on X, President Nayib Bukele said the exchange was done in return for a considerable number of Venezuelan political prisoners as well as the U.S. citizens. In a separate post, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the exchange and thanked Bukele and American officials.
Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit against media tycoon Rupert Murdoch and his organizations News Corporation and Dow Jones and Company for libel, assault, and slander. The suit comes after his newspaper, The Wall Street Journal, reports allegations that Trump's name appeared on a 2003 birthday card to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The U.S. president says the story is false, malicious, and defamatory. Trump earlier asked for the release of court documents relating to Epstein. His Attorney General Pam Bondi said they were ready to unseal grand jury transcripts on Friday.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, staff ordered out of the head offices of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities following significant health concerns.
Water lock-offs to take effect across Kingston and St. Andrew come Monday.
Transport Minister says only one opposition MP has attended the pre-launch meetings for the Rural School Bus Program.
Special needs student welcomes Rural School Bus Program.
And Lisa Hanna is under fire on social media over a post she made that appeared to associate Robert Morgan with a gorilla. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Are you burning up with this summer heat? The place hot, man. Get cool now with a Hisense air conditioner. I feel good. With advanced energy-saving inverter technology and whisper quiet operation. Beat this heat with Hisense. Available at Aliabra Brands Limited, 64 Hagley Park Road, or call 876-676-5951 now.
So good. So good. I got you.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's men's 4x100 meters relay team for Saturday's London Diamond League has been submitted to the organisers. Rohan Watson will lead off to Oblique Seville to Kadrian Golson with the national 100 meters champion Kishane Thompson on anchor. According to our sources who witnessed the relay practice in Italy, the handover between Seville and Golson in particular was very impressive. The race is scheduled to get underway at 7:30 a.m. Jamaica time on Saturday. Jamaica is seeking to attain the qualifying standard for the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan in September. They must go faster than the 37.87 seconds done by the Netherlands or the 38.46 by Nigeria. Meanwhile, a total of 9 Jamaicans are listed to contest individual events at the meet. In the individual events, the trio of Tajay Gale, the 2019 world champion, Kerry McLeod and Wayne Pinnock will contest the men's long jump. And it's Andrinette Knight, and Genevieve Russell will go in the women's 400 meters hurdles. Lamar Distin will be Jamaica's lone standard bearer in the women's high jump. Natoya Gould topping runs in the women's 800. The men's 100 meters will feature Oblique Seville. It's a stacked 100 meters field. Ashanti Moore is listed for the women's 200 meters. Let's hope she gets there in time. She's in New York at the moment. And we'll be getting into London at about 6:30 a.m. London time. She runs at 4 p.m. So once she gets to London at 6:30, rush to the hotel, get herself ready, and then head over to the meet. Wish her good luck. 4-time national champion Frederick Dacus says he's confident of making the qualifying standards in the men's discus ahead of September's World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Dacus' best so far this season is 63 meters 54, and he must achieve the qualifying mark of 67 meters 50 before the August 24 cutoff date to make it to the Worlds. The World Championships are in 54 days' time, but the former Calabar star believes he'll have enough time to get it done.
I'm really not really worried at all. Focused on the World Champ. So that's really the purpose. That's really it.
The Doha 2019 silver medalist says he's had to pull out of meets because he's not yet in the shape he wants to be. However, he's eyeing the NACAC Championships in Freeport, the Bahamas, August 15 to 17 to kickstart the preparation work needed for the Worlds.
To be honest, we've had a few meets and all that, but I've turned it down because I don't feel like I'm as strong as I need to be in terms of, I have work to do. So really and truly, the aim is actually, I think we have a meet, I think I have Nakak. I think that's a meet coming, so there's that. So yeah, it's more like just a trip towards the World Championships more than anything else. So it's not even about the mark before. It's just really just perfect.
Yeah, that's Frederick Dakers. Jamaica beat Trinidad and Tobago by 7 wickets at Connery on Friday in the sixth and final round of games at the West Indies Rising Stars Under-19 Cricket Championship. Trinidad and Tobago batted first. They made 159 all-out, and this happened in the 44th over. Vitaly Laws bagged a 4 for 28. They're 2 wickets apiece for Nikolai McKenzie and Roshan McKenzie. Half centuries from Kevondre Virgo, 51 retired, not out, and David Dwyer, 55 not out, helped to steer Jamaica to 162 for 3 in 35 overs and 3 balls. Tyreek Bryan also weighed in with 35. At St. Mary's Park, Guyana beat the USA by 2. That's the USA 2 by 9 wickets. The Americans were dismissed for 180 in 45 overs. Rahul Basu top scored with 45 against Rehat Latif 6 for 23 and Nitanyan Maturu 4 for 44. Guyana then raced to 181 for 1 in 32 overs and 4 balls. And let's take one bit of cricket news before we go. New Zealand beat Zimbabwe by 8 wickets in Harare in the latest game at the Tri-Nation T20 tournament. The Wesley Madahera, 36, top scored for the home team in their 120 for 7 of 20 overs. Matt Henry grabbed 3 for 36. New Zealand made light work of the target. They reached 122 for 2, and they did this in 14 overs thanks to Devon Conway, 59, and Rasheen Ravindra, 36. The win has put New Zealand at the top of the table. And that will do it for sports. So now, though, we're going to be back at 6:05 with much more.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:31.
Bosco Bell St. Mary is your newest gateway to Miami. Daily flights are available for your convenience. The temperature brought to you by the Airport Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 32 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You wanna do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex frisky.
PrEP, I extra bucketed.
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. 1 pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Tired of waiting for your ride? Want safety and peace of mind on every journey? Amber on Time is here! With verified drivers, real-time vehicle tracking, and panic button with armed security response, your safety is our priority. Reliable service, easy booking, premium experience, it's all just a tap away. Download Amber on Time today.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
Passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glowing
Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM from 6 to 9 p.m. as we broadcast from the Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street, Almontown, Sunday, July 20. Hear from Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie alongside Members of Parliament Donovan Williams, Darrell Vaz, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Delroy Chuck, and others. It's the Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street in Almontown, Sunday, July 20. From 6 to 9 p.m. right here, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the West Kingston constituency and the Jamaica Labour Party. Due to the broadcast of the St. Andrew Western Constituency Conference on Sunday, July 20, Jamaican Dads, Immaculate Moments, and Baha'i Faith will not be aired.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
Top of the afternoon to you, Sir Ricardo. Top of the afternoon to our listeners and our viewers on the 90 FM band, and of course, those who are watching us on YouTube. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Give thanks, man. Give thanks, my brother.
Good. We have to start again with a trigger warning, listeners. We're continuing that conversation we started yesterday. This matter of sexual offenses against our children. This afternoon, we're getting the perspective of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. You'd recall that yesterday, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, she raised concerns about the rising number of sexual offense cases involving taxi drivers in St. Catherine. She addressed the issue on Nationwide at 5 yesterday.
St. Catherine, for the Easter term here that is just being completed, you will find that for every one murder case on the list, there are 2 sexual offense cases, and 40 to 50% of the accused in the rape cases, most of the cases are rape, the accused are taximen, and the age of the victims in respect of these cases with allegation is that it has been done by taximen is 12 to 16 years. St. Catherine has always been the parish where you tended to find allegations involving taxis, I would say the most compared to the other parishes. But I think in recent times, there seems to be an uptick in it.
Voice there of the country's chief prosecutor, Paula Llewellyn. She says the revelation follows the court case involving a father who pleaded guilty to raping and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter over several years. He was also convicted of raping another child, his neighbor, around the same time as well. The man, a taxi driver, was sentenced to more than 70 years in prison when he appeared in the Home Circuit Court on Tuesday. According to DPP Llewellyn, most sexual offense cases involving taximen involve abduction.
The victims were usually children taking the taxis, and invariably it's either they are the first in the taxi, supposedly going to school, and the taximan will divert, do what he does in terms of the sexual assault, and then, I guess, go back to his regular work. Or the child might be the last person in the taxi, so everybody else comes out, and then the taximan takes her away. And in fact, most of the rape cases involving taximen as the accused, we also had a charge for forcible abduction.
The DPP is saying that while court records will show that while the number of sexual offense cases are on the rise, murder is on the decline.
For some time over the last few years, we have noticed that the sexual offense cases in the sort of depravity that you're seeing, that it has really been on the uptick. I think you definitely had an uptick after COVID, but even before that. And I think part of it, I know a lot of people will be shocked, but I think we have to have a man in the mirror moment, because a lot of people do not regard sexual offenses with the same alarm that they view murder. And just yesterday, several of us were talking in the chambers and remarking that though we are very happy to see that the murder cases, the murder figures are going down, but we are not seeing the same emphasis by the authorities in looking at the sexual offenses.
Paula Llewellyn there, the country's Director of Public Prosecutions. To help us shed some more light on this troubling issue, we're being joined by Senior Communication Strategist at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, SSP Dennis Brooks. Good afternoon, SSP.
Greetings, Sir Dennis.
Good afternoon to you both. Good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
All right, let me start by asking you to give our listeners a sense of the situation since the start of the year, the lay of the land, if you will.
Right. Well. First of all, earlier this year, we had noticed some trends and some patterns. If you might remember, around about mid-May, and we raised some concern about it. We would have put out a statement via video and, asking persons to take this matter seriously. Superintendent Kerry-Ann Bailey, head of CISOCA, made that statement. Thereafter, we did a whole podcast discussing this matter, because while from the perspective of the prosecutor is speaking to you in terms of the cases that are before the courts now. Mm-hmm. But the reason why the cases are before the courts and of concern, quite rightly, to the office of the DPP and to the rest of the nation, we are the ones who are putting the cases, working together with the prosecutor. We are putting the cases before the court. Mm-hmm. So we are seeing them at their earliest stage. This is another perspective of what we have been saying. So I just put that context there. Now, I can speak to data. I mean, and these are not new numbers, because we did raise the concern at the time. So the data that I have is from the beginning to around about the midpoint of the year. And at that point, there was a 36.8% decline in sexual offenses against children. But we were raising concern because even one case is too high. Yes. And destroys children and families very often, or damages them in irreparable ways. But what we were saying at the time, and we are still saying now, and I'm now hearing the DPP echoing that, is that the depravity of some of the cases, so quantitatively, things are improving, but we raise concern about qualitatively some of these cases are just heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at the offenses, the top 3 offenses thus far this year continues to be 1, sexual intercourse with a person under 16, 2, grievous sexual assault, and 3, rape. Those are the top 3. And this year alone, these 3 categories account for over 250 of the over 330 odd that we had recorded between January and May. And so that gives you an idea of the magnitude of it. in terms of the relationships, because we always say, invariably, what we see when we see sexual offenses against children, there is a breach of a position of trust. Mm-hmm. And so in 152 cases of the cases that we had counted up to earlier this year, 152 was a friend. In 112, the relationship was an acquaintance. In 66 cases, it was a cousin. In 56 cases, it was a daughter. In 96 cases, it was a stepdaughter. And in 49 cases, it was a girlfriend relationship. And so we are seeing where these are not strangers who are randomly acting as predators against the children. These are people who they know or who know them. Mm-hmm. And there are other numbers that we could look at.
Yeah, hold it there first. Hold it there first, Dennis. You're up on the break. I want to talk a little bit more about that after the break, because who these perpetrators are. Because I think a lot of times we think about perpetrators as shadowy figures. We use terms like dirty man and, dirty old man. But it could just be your uncle or your father or your stepfather. And I want to know how that complicates investigations after the break.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Burn Shack fried chicken always ready. Burn Shack, original crispy. Burn Shack, Cajun spicy. Burn Shack, a barbecue. Burn Shack, we are go a Burn Shack.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay and Ochivios is
31 degrees Celsius here in Kingston. It's also 31 out west in Montego Bay.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall. Our Total Tools. Weed whacker figure, trim the lawn. We have everything you job them on. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slive Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Tyrone Reed.
And we again give you a trigger warning. We are speaking with Senior Communications Strategist at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, SSP Dennis Brooks, about the troubling situation in the country regarding the sexual abuse of our children. He says on the whole, it's on the decline in terms of number of cases, but the depravity of the cases they're concerning to the police, and then the proximity of the perpetrators to the victims. And so, Dennis, go ahead, Tyrone.
I wanted to just add a little caveat, because the relation to the victim, I gather worldwide, the statistic is that in cases of rape, the perpetrator is usually known to the victim, and Dennis could help me on that. But generally, I think globally that is the in the lion's share of cases that the victim, the perpetrator, is usually known to the victim. So it doesn't change the cleanliness of the individual if they're related to them, Sir Ricardo. No. Still fall under the heading.
That wasn't my suggestion, but I'm saying when you think about a caregiver, somebody you trust, you don't automatically think of that person as a dirty man. So what I wanted to know from SSP Brooks is, how does that complicate the investigations? Do you find that the children or mothers or stepmothers are willing to expose these people because of the position they're in, or are they more likely to clam up?
Well, I mean, each case is unique, and each case is, judged in its own merit there. So each case has a different solvability factor in terms of what people are willing to say. What I will say is that, for instance, this year, as recently as July 12, there were 174 reported rape cases. There were 168 cases cleared up. Rape has a high clear-up rate in many instances because the people who are being raped, and that figure is generally speaking, that is not rape of minors alone. But what it says to you is that people generally know the people. You can identify. It's not the same as robbery, where you don't know who committed this act of housebreaking. People tend to know who is doing it. Now, as we often say with children, and I said it a while ago, it usually is perpetrated by someone breaching a position of trust. So you trusted this person to stay at home with the child, or you trusted this neighbor, or you trusted this person. You maybe it's not the person, but you at your aunt's house, but there is a person who has access to the aunt's house. So some of the time, that's why when we are giving out warnings, and especially during the summer months, when there is a reduction in the quality of supervision, we particularly have to ramp up our activities because we are noting that during the summer months you will find these cases because parents have to go out and work. Usually the school serves multiple purposes. For instance, it serves the purpose of having somewhere safe to keep your children. But so in these months, you may be trusting a neighbor to watch the children, and those persons or persons who have access to their homes then perpetrate an offense. These are challenges that we have to acknowledge. But I must say that, earlier this year we were looking at the numbers and we were saying taxi operator is not the necessarily the dominant occupation of perpetrators nationally. When we look at taxi operators account for maybe 6%. Farmers.
Is there a spike in taxi operators though year on year, Sir Dennis?
I haven't seen that figure to say that there's a spike, but it might be that the cases that are currently before the court in St. Catherine, where DPP was speaking of, among those cases, that particular set has a particular occupational representation, and an occupation might be overrepresented in those particular numbers. But generally speaking, the predominant occupation of perpetrators of sexual violence against minors is student. 23% student, 11% unemployed, or someone who may be referred to as a laborer, 9% of offenses, and then the rest are just are represented in very small numbers. But again, we often warn persons in terms of who you are trusting your child with to travel with. And is it a taxi driver that you trust? Is it a vehicle that you know? Is it somebody who who is accountable to you, or are they at the behest of persons who may wish them ill?
Sir Dennis, I know this issue has been politicized, unfortunately, but because the Director of Public Prosecutions has raised the alarm here about the number of sexual offense cases involving taxi drivers, in particular in St. Catherine, the implementation of the rural school bus system. Not certain if any parts of St. Catherine would fall in that, Ricardo. Ricardo, you perhaps have a better lay of the land.
Yes, parts of St. Catherine.
Parts of St. Catherine would fall into the areas being served?
Yes.
Will this serve in any way to militate against what the DPP is raising here, having that dedicated school bus service? That's one. And what are the additional safeguards that parents can take? I know you just mentioned just be careful about who you're allowing to transport your children. That's a very important point. But are there other things that you could advise parents to do?
Well, first of all, I always ask persons to establish safe words or codes for their children in terms of who is to pick them up. Have designated persons to pick them up. Don't just leave your children in anybody's care. What I would urge parents to do in terms of who you are leaving your children with, especially during the holiday periods. Who are you leaving them with? Do you have access to the person? Does the person have access to you? Open lines of communication with your children. Let nobody be able to tell your child that this is a secret between them. Teach your children good touch and bad touch. Have these difficult conversations with your children so that they know from an early age that no one is supposed to touch them in a certain way or invite them to touch anybody in a certain way, that these areas are private. Teach your children about privacy. These are things that I find are very important, but because people are uncomfortable with the conversation, that these things go unspoken about. And what I would also say is that we have this way in Jamaica where it's almost as if I just little rape in or dead. These things are things that we need to contend with as a society, and that is why when we raised the issue even earlier this year, there are certain things that as the police we cannot do for the society. We need it needs to be a national agenda of protecting our children from sexual offenses and having a zero tolerance approach to it. Yes, CISOCA, especially CISOCA headquarters, is now ISO 9001 certified, so our systems have improved and have been certified as being world class. So yes, you will see an improvement in terms of our solving of cases and closing of cases, but every case that we close, we take no pleasure in, or we close that case, that child is still significantly hurt, or that family is broken because of the trust that has been breached.
Mm-hmm. And Dennis, that's what I wanted to ask you, because while we've heard a lot about the advances in the security forces, and we probably tend to readily think about murder and the drop in murders and other crimes, talk to us about how the JCF has improved in terms of dealing with the sensitivities around matters like sexual assault and rape.
Well, I mean, we in terms of the transformation of the JCF, you hear us talk about people, quality, and technology, but think about the application of that to something like this. We have to improve the quality of our people by training more and more and more of our members so that they can investigate these matters better, that in terms of developing the systems of CISOCA. And so now we have CISOCA units located in every parish now. And so there are people who they are so familiar with CISOCA and they so trust CISOCA that it's almost, we have to remind people that CISOCA is the JCF. How they speak of CISOCA as it's this entity that they know.
Yes.
Like we have to say, is Beer police work at CISOCA? You hear? Understand?
So that's a good thing or a bad thing, Sir Dennis?
I mean, it's branding, because some of the times I've heard on news reports people complaining that the police haven't come and speak to them, only CISOCA. And we have to say, no. The police...
You've done too good.
Exactly. But because...
With the marketing.
People want to come in and talk and explain what has happened. And the more cases we solve and the more seriously people know that we take these cases, is the more people feel comfortable to report these things and not sweep them under the rug. And then you hear generations of people being molested by the same dirty old man, so to speak. This is what we need to stop. The intergenerational factor, because there is a variable of hurt people hurting people, that in many instances children are perpetrators of sexual violence against children.
Which is why I wanted to before we run out of time, take you back to that stat you gave us. Take us behind the numbers if you can quickly. The lion's share in terms of a single group that is represented for being perpetrators of sexual offenses against minors. You're saying student is that number one category?
23% is student.
Take us behind that stat. Is there anything you can tell us that is happening behind that stat there?
Well, I mean, there are students at various levels of the education system. That's all I would say. So yes, there are students who are. Remember that the number one offense is sex with a person under the age of 16, and so there are older students having intercourse with younger students who are not able to form consent, and that is a sexual offense. There are students who are perpetrating sexual crimes against other students. So you see people under the age of 17, under the age of 18 rather, perpetrating crimes against their student colleagues who may be who may be a bit younger than them.
So minors, so minors may be in that as well. People under 16 might be under that as well.
It is a factor. It is a factor, and when we've looked at the numbers more broadly over the last few years, we do see that pattern bearing out as well.
Yeah. We have to leave it there. SSP Dennis Brooks, Senior Communications Strategist at the JCF. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. An occupational safety and health assessment has found significant hazards at the head offices of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. The report is raising questions about the level of attention being paid to a building that serves some of the country's most vulnerable citizens. Nationwide News has seen a copy of the Environment and Health Assessment. It was conducted in February and the report was submitted in March this year. On multiple floors throughout the building, the assessment team found poor air quality and strong offensive odors, including sewage. Staff were also exposed to what's being described as chemical exposure from printing equipment and growth of mold. There was also no hand washing station in the building rehabilitation area. The report concludes by describing the persistence of the issues identified as troubling and warns that if they're not promptly and effectively addressed, there is a significant risk of public health implications. Water conservation measures will take effect across sections of Kingston and St. Andrew come Monday, July 21. This is due to ongoing drought conditions which are expected to linger until October. The National Water Commission, NWC, says the lockoffs will run on 6 and 12-hour intervals. Customers who rely on the Mona network will be affected on Monday from 6 in the morning until 6 p.m. For customers of the Hope network, their supply will run alternately from 6 a.m. to midday, from 12 noon to 6 p.m., as well as 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in some communities. The NWC says those who rely on the Constant Spring network will be affected come Wednesday, July 23. That restriction will run from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., while the lower section of Constant Spring will run on the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. interval. The NWC says the decision follows significantly reduced inflows to its major water storage facilities. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says only one opposition member of Parliament has attended the pre-launch meetings for the Rural School Bus program. Minister Vaz made the statement while speaking on Cliff Online on Friday.
I've just finished the third consultation on the Rural School Bus system this morning, having had the other two. I broke it down into counties, the 3 counties. Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. We did the last one this morning, just completing a short while ago, where we invited all councillors and members of Parliament to widen the stakeholder consultation so that the representatives would be aware and be in a position to advise their constituents of the intricacies of the rollout in September. The only member of parliament on the opposition side that attended was the outgoing member of parliament, Maurice Guy, who attended the meeting yesterday, which was his meeting. Not one other rural MP.
The government's rural school bus program, set to be launched in September, has been met with criticism by the opposition. PNP leader Mark Golding described the buses as old, while opposition Senator Peter Bunting told PNP supporters that the buses would, quote, kill off poor people picking them, end quote. Minister Vaz says Mr. Golding has also failed to attend any of the pre-launch meetings for the program. According to him, the lack of attendance by rural opposition MPs is either a boycott or proof of their lack of concern for their constituents.
I want to make the point that either this is a silent protest, in some cases as it relates to this, or it's simply just a complete disregard for the importance of this transformative initiative and the impact that it's going to have on rural communities that are served by rural MPs. It brought home to me when you replayed the clips of the banter on the platforms and what is taking place now with the implementation. And I just believe it is my duty to bring to the attention of your listenership and the wider country that we are doing everything that we need to do to sensitize, to include.
Darrell Vaz, Transport Minister. Jamaicans who owe $150,000 or less on their land titles could soon receive an amnesty. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness at a land title handing over ceremony in Westmoreland on Friday.
I have said to the chairman, examine your database for all the titles that are under $150,000 outstanding. And we are going to give an amnesty. So that will, I am certain, give a significant number of Jamaicans access to their titles. And I also use this platform to say to others who owe over the 150, come in and start paying. Let us settle this and get all the titles out there into your hands. You know why? Because the title gives you access to financing.
Dr. Holness says the land title amnesty forms part of the Jamaica Labour Party's manifesto. Dr. Holness noted that many Jamaicans are unable to acquire land titles as the process may be challenging. He disclosed that through the government's assistance, more than 12,000 land titles have been issued up to June this year.
What we have done, we have put in a new way of titling, where we've put in an adjudication council, and it is called the systematic registration of land. It was done under my administration. It is an innovation in titling, and it has facilitated up to June 30th, 2025, so between April 1, 2021 and June 30th, 2025, we have issued over 12,240 titles under this system of systematic titling. We're going to expand the system now to take in areas like these, so people who are already occupying land can be a part of the systematic registration. And the good thing with this is that we pay for the land surveyor and the other fees, and over time you can pay back for that.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Paula Llewellyn says the sexual exploitation of children under the age of 16 remains a troubling and culturally ingrained issue in Jamaican society. She made the comments in light of two recent high-profile convictions involving adult men who sexually abused minors.
We are afraid to shine the light or to talk about it because a lot of it is cultural. There is a sort of subtext within the culture that says, after that I know nothing. It's just a little sex. And that is a cultural thing all over the country. Right now, if you talk to the average prosecutor at my office, it's something that has been very concerning. In St. Thomas, so you have 25 murder cases and you had 54 sexual offense cases just for this term that were handled. For the sexual offense cases, you had 27 rape cases, 1 burglary, 7 incest. Incest is another thing, another offense that we have seen rising as well. Council in several parishes have told me that.
In one case, a 44-year-old man was found guilty of molesting and trafficking his underage daughter and stepdaughter over several years. He was sentenced to more than 70 years in prison, but will serve 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. In another case, a 72-year-old man was convicted of raping his 3 step-grandchildren aged 6 to 11. DPP Paula Llewellyn says such cases highlight the disturbing reality that sexual abuse of minors continues to be normalized in some communities. She adds that the perpetrators are often known or related to the victims.
In Trelawney, it is well known there, the police will tell you. In top Trelawney, the sexual offense cases that come there would seem to suggest that it's a rite of passage that is just known, just happens, and everybody looks the other way. Usually, it's neighbors, it's relatives, it's people right in the same yard. They are known within the community. So, I mean, it's all well and good for people to be alarmed and shocked when they see that story. I myself was alarmed. But when you look within their communities, within the particular arena that they operate, a lot of this is hidden or half hidden, or it is there in plain sight. But yet they look the other way because it's a part of the culture.
Paula Llewellyn, Director of Public Prosecutions. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Are you looking for a place where your imagination can blossom into something amazing? Where you can be as creative as you dare with facilitators who will prepare you to succeed in a global career? Or maybe you're looking for a place that practices tertiary level education in a practical way? Then you belong at the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI. Become the best you can be. You belong here. VTDI, empowering people, transforming lives.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Start the school year healthy and ready. Bring the kids to the nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair for vision and dental checks, blood pressure and blood sugar tests, and even immunization support. It's peace of mind for parents and a confident start for students. Join Team Revolution on Saturday, August 9 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Don't miss the nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's men's 4x100 meters relay team for Saturday's London Diamond League has been submitted. Rohan Watson will lead off to Oblique Seville to Kadrian Golson with national 100 meters champion Kishane Thompson on anchor. According to our source who witnessed the relay practice in Italy, the handover between Seville and Golson in particular was very impressive. The race is scheduled to get going at 7:30 Jamaica time tomorrow morning. Jamaica is seeking to attain the qualifying standard for the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan in September. They must go faster than the 37.87 seconds by the Netherlands or the 38.46 by Nigeria. Meanwhile, a total of 9 Jamaicans are listed to contest individual events at the meet. The individuals who are going to be in action: Tajay Gale, Kerry McLeod and Wayne Pinnock. They'll contest the men's long jump. Anjanette Knight and Genevieve Russell will go in the women's 400 meters hurdles. Lamara Distin will be Jamaica's lone standard bearer in the women's high jump. Natoya Gould Toppin runs in the women's 800 meters. The men's 100 meters will feature Oblique Seville. Ashante Moore is listed for the women's 200 meters, where she'll run out of lane number 2. Four-time national champion Frederick Dacre says he's confident of making the qualifying standards in the men's discus ahead of September's World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Dacre's best so far this season is 63 meters 54, and he must achieve the qualifying mark of 67 meters 50 before the August 24 cutoff date to make it to the World Championship. The World Championships are in 54 days' time. The former Calabar star believes he has enough time to get it done.
I'm really not really worried at all. Focused on the World Champ. So that's really the purpose. That's really it.
The Doha 2019 silver medalist says he has had to pull out of meets because he's not yet in the shape he wants to be. However, he's eyeing the NACAC Championships in the Bahamas, August 15 to 17, to kickstart the preparation phase of the World Championship preps.
To be honest, we've had a few meets and all that, but I've turned it down because I don't feel like I'm as strong as I need to be in terms of, I have work to do. So really and truly, the aim is actually, I think we have a meet, I think I have NACAC. I think that's a meet coming. So there's that. So yeah, it's more like just a trip towards the World Championships more than anything else. So it's not even about the mark before. It's just really just perfect.
Dacres has had his fair share of injuries in the past, and he revealed that at present his body is in good shape.
What feel good, the usual niggles with the knees and all that. My hands feel good. It's just really a bit weak now, but growth, you know what I mean. It gotta take some time, but I'm getting there. Well, a few times, some time before the major meet. So I will work on.
Frederick Dacres. Jamaica beat Trinidad and Tobago by 7 wickets at Connery on Friday in the 6th and final round of games at the West Indies Rising Stars Under-19 cricket tournament. Trinidad and Tobago batted first. They made 159 all out in 44 overs, with Vital Laws taking 4 for 28, Nikolai Mackenzie and Roshan Mackenzie both taking 2 wickets apiece. Half centuries from Kevondre Virgo, 51, retired not out, and David Dwyer, 45, not out, helped to steer Jamaica to 162 for 3 in 35 overs and 3 balls. Tyreek Brown also weighed in with 35. At the St. Mary Park ground, Guyana beat the USA 2 by 9 wickets. The Americans were dismissed for 118 45 overs. Raul Basu top scored with 45 against Riyad Latif, who got 6 for 23, and Itandian Natharu 4 for 44. Guyana then raced to 181 for 1 in 32 overs and 4 balls, thanks to an unbeaten century 102 from Romeo Dion Ryan. At St. Paul's, Barbados 142. They beat the Windward Islands 125 all out by 17 runs, while at Willard Park the USA won 103 for 5, defeated the Leeward Islands 103 all out by some 5 wickets. President of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett, has disagreed with the West Indies Test captain Ruston Chase, who blamed the wicket at Sabina Park as one of the reasons the batters did not bat well in the 3rd Test against Australia. Dr. Bennett told Nationwide Sports that the groundsmen prepared a good wicket for the Test match. He says the West Indies batters, they played poorly because they failed to come to terms with the pink ball.
I thought it was a fair wicket. I thought if the batsman decided to bat, they could bat on it, and there was something in it for the bowlers. I think what made the big difference was the pink ball. That pink ball with that huge seam on it, especially after dark, created a challenge. So I don't think it's so much a pitch. I think it's a ball that with its swing and sideways movement that created the problems there.
This is Chase in his post-game comments.
The pitches were very tough. I don't want to say they were too in favor of the bowlers, but they were very tough because, as you can see, this is probably the first series I've ever played and no batsman got 100 for each side. So that's something that I've never really seen in a test series. So that just goes to show that how dominant the bowlers were.
That's Ruston Chase. New Zealand beat Zimbabwe by 8 wickets in Harare in the latest game of the Tri-Nation T20 International Series. Wesley Madahaver, he top scored at 36 for the home team in their 120 for 7 in 20 overs. Matt Henry picked up 3 for 36. New Zealand made light work of the target. They reached 122 for 2 in 14 overs, thanks to Devon Conway 59 and Rashid Ravindra 36. The win has moved New Zealand to the top of the standings. Champions and leaders Fraser's Whip will start favourites when they take on 5th place Malgully in the Jamaica Women's Premier League at Royal Lake Sports Complex on Saturday. Fraser's Whip has so far won 18 of their 19 games. The only blemish came in a 1-1 draw with Arnett Gardens last Saturday. Coach of Fraser's Whip, Courtney Dowdy, says that result was a wake-up call.
It is, and I'm happy. I'm happy that we got it there. Nobody wants to lose or draw a game, but drawing that game showed us what we need to work on going into the semi-final. It shows the girls that they can't become too complacent and think that everything is in control. So that 1-1 draw against Arnett really opened up a lot of things that we need to fix going into the semi-final round.
And Dowdy says he'll be resting a number of his first-team regulars for tomorrow's game.
Tomorrow's game, we'll be looking to rotate most of our players, seeing that some of them will be leaving off to college at the end of the season. Now, it's very important that we rotate, that they don't go back a little bit tired. I want them to go back fresh. So tomorrow's game is going to be used to look at where we are going into the semi-finals, and a lot of rotation will be done.
That's Courtney Dowdy. Meanwhile, Captain Davia Richards says she's ready to again give of her best if she's called on for Saturday's game. Richards leads the Golden Boot race with 38 goals, and she says there's more where those come from.
It's a tremendous season. It's pretty much, I wouldn't say a long one, but challenging at some point. But got the opportunity to put 38 in the back and still have more to put away. But it's a good season so far.
Davia Richards. In Saturday's other fixtures, Springers United will welcome Los Perfectos at Granville Community Centre. Real Mobay will take on Arnett Gardens at Jarrett Park. Federal United will tussle with Proven Girls at Prison Oval. And Wi-Fi United will play UWI Women at Carter Park. All games are set to kick off at 3:30. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
We don't want to have a security force where people fear our police more than they fear gunmen. Every officer here, what they really want when they walk out in their community is that people say, I want my son to follow in your footsteps. They want respect, and they know they can't get that respect if people just fear them as how they fear criminals. So let us invest in building a security force that we can all be proud of. I want the security force that we are building to have ultimate and utmost respect for human rights. Let us make our JCF the force for good, the force to protect us. There were transgressions in the past. There are members of the force who they haven't got the memo yet, but I'm certain that the system that is in place in the JCF with the new leadership and command, that when officers violate, they will be dealt with. This is a world-class policing institution that we are building, one in which you can be proud and one that will be an example for the rest of the region.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
You have to win, then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Getting ready for school is as easy as KB. Shop at Kingston Bookshop between July 14 to September 6, 2025 for your chance to win big in our back-to-school promotion. Spend just $5,000 before GCT, shop online or in-store, and you could win $150,000 in cash, an HP laptop, or a Samsung Galaxy Tab A9. It's back to school the easy way, only at KB. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Back to school doesn't have to break the bank. Swap instead of shop. Join Nationwide 90 FM at our Back to School fair on Saturday, August 9 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park in the western city of Montego Bay. Bring those books your kids no longer need and swap them for ones they do. Plus, enjoy fun activities, entertainment, and meet your favorite Nationwide personalities. It's all happening in St. James on Saturday, August 9 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park. See you there.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 presents Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, July 25 p.m. at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street in Almond Town. Deputy Leader Desmond Mackenzie and host Member of Parliament Donovan Williams will be on the road with champion MPs Darrell Vaz, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, Delroy Chuck, Delroy Williams, Dwayne Smith, Senators Abka Fitz-Henley, Shireen Golding Campbell and others. Come hear messages of substance as the Jamaica Labour Party's mission to improve lives is active and strong. Choose Jamaica public meeting this Sunday, 5 p.m. in Almond Town, Central Kingston. No worry, Impact Boss Donovan Williams understands. Donovan cares. No sellout twinting. We choose Jamaica.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come unwind with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth, don't miss it.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. It is Friday, the end of another long work week. We invite you over there on our YouTube platform to comment in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. It's going to be a very interesting one. The streets are buzzing, the fans have been debating, and the stage is set for one of the biggest moments possibly in dancehall culture. With Vybz Kartel set to be officially crowned at Reggae Sumfest, we're asking the question that always stirs the pot. Who is your king of dancehall? Is it Kartel, the self-proclaimed world boss?
Yeah, sharp that. They do the thing going on. The one I Portmore and the one I St. James. Remember we when we're gone, we live forever. Salt Spring, we not going under. I'll get on you, get your money longer. Ready, broke pocket now work. Straight from the narrow now.
Is it Beanie Man, the long-time holder of the title?
Zaga Zaga. Zaga now. Yeah. Sing it. Yo, let's do this. Palm bed, palm floor against wall.
Okay, all right. Which one? So, we're putting the question to you in public opinion this evening. We're asking, ahead of the crowning of Vybz Kartel at Sumfest, who is your king of dance hall? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. On our Facebook platform right away, Edney Powell said dancehall dead. Edney Powell said dancehall dead at this time. There is no king. 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s were great for dancehall. Bounty Killer are the king of dancehall in its heyday. Yeah? Let me see. Duns is saying Vybz Kartel is the king of dancehall. Until me see a next dancehall artist start perform for 25,000 USD per minute and more influential than him, then I may change my mind. But Kartel is the man right now. And him say big up all of the dancehall greats. Barking is saying dancehall is no longer there. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s was dancehall. Bounty Killer ruled those days. Shines for Life Law is saying King James Bible and King Jesus, no other king. Dancehall is garbage now. Okay. Philip Jackson is saying dancehall to harsh and cross and full too. Oh, you're saying it's too harsh and it's too cross and full of violent lyrics. And he's saying, I won't put no kingship to that space. Okay, to each his own. CJ is saying the only crown him deserve is the prison bud crown. Wow. Rodney Williams is saying there's only one king and his name is Jesus Christ. Yeah. Vybz Kartel is coming from Demoy Hart. Kemar True Blue is saying Bounty Killer, and Anthony Irons is saying King Jesus. Patricia Pitter is saying Vybz Kartel, the lyricist, vocabulary physicist. Okay. Dancehall Dan is saying Vybz Kartel, one current king. Let me see. On our X platform, Griot is saying one Beenie Man. One Beenie Man is the king of dancehall. On our Instagram platform, right away, Revamp is saying Kartel with a bag of fire emoji. Hyatt Herman is saying Beanie, the only king of dance hall. Must soon reach over YouTube. Rail is saying, what kind of question that? Namos Alkaline? Okay. Sheila is saying dancehall king is Vybz Kartel. Yeah. Chaddy is saying we will know tonight. World music, no king reigns forever. Beanie needs to step aside now. A new king has risen. One king, one goat, one cartel. Desrin is saying cartel. Willie Ryan Wilson is saying no king reigns forever. Beenie Man needs to respect the fact that the king of the dance hall right now is Vybz Kartel. Beenie Man all day, every day says, hey, it's Lady Cutchinson. Barnaby is saying Kartel is the current king. Adija Palmer is coming from Maestro Gaza Wandan. The name says it all right there. Tevon is saying Vybz Kartel, a pure Vybz Kartel. May I see? World Boss, one back of the other. Beenie Man is, I already read that one. Let me see. Auburn is saying only dancehall alone needs one king. Why can't we have kings of dancehall? Kartel can never be king. Him can't perform. Like it or not, it's the truth. Seeing G-Money saying Beenie Man. Beenie Man coming from Mrs. Bobby Field. Or that should be Mrs. Boz Byfield. Definitely Beenie Man says Sheikah. Yeah. Bounty Killer says Shansley. And I want to tell you that in our choosing this question, it was said that if it wasn't Bounty Killer, we wouldn't have whole heap of them artists here. We would have no whole heap. All right, let's get to it. On our YouTube platform, ahead of the crowning of Vybz Kartel at Sumfest, who you believe are the king of dancehall? Let me see. John Black is saying Beenie Man the king of dancehall. Teacher, teach them. Adi says so 222. That should be. Let me see if I can get in some more. Carl is saying, can both of them lose? That would be nice. Andrew Last is saying, dancehall music lose its taste. Okay. Nats Hutchinson is saying, if you not have no Grammy, you are no king of dancehall. Okay. Come out strong. Kerry K. Markland is saying, my king, Beenie Man. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Crystal Clark saying Beenie Man. George Brown says Sumfest is looking a big crowd, but no one do it like King Yellow Man. Kartel ruined his rep, says Erica. Barnett. Okay. Beanie Man coming from Tanya Bartley, that should be Tanya Bartley saying Beanie Man. Yeah. Maybog believes that dancehall dead. Dancehall can't stall. Okay. One World Boss coming from Omar Willis. King Yellowman, One King, Wise Emissary is saying, I think there's like kings of eras. You have the different era. Because I wouldn't, like, this is me and me young and maybe no know, but I wouldn't say for no. Like in this moment, I wouldn't say Yellowman. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, I wouldn't say King Yellowman. I'm just saying. Hats off to each and every king, whether self-proclaimed or anointed. Howard Irving is saying One Yellowman. McHugh saying Beanie Man. Beanie Man coming from Charmaine. Beanie Man coming from Erica Barnett. I see the Doctor coming from Errol Townsend. Feel like I can't have kings of eras. Yeah? I don't know. Kings of eras. Calvin Daly said Cliff the King. Big up yourself, Cliff the King. 90s badness still reigns. Easy Guy says Beanie. Yeah? Beanie. Ronald Granta asks if dancehall did still a keep. What you say? What you not say? Yeah, what you saying? Do it for the culture? Let me see. Only one king of dancehall is King Yellowman, says Leonard Seville. Beanie coming from CBCB. Moody is saying Beanie Man is the real king. Cartel is King Kong. Okay. Political analyst, this is a new one. Shabba Ranks. None of them no bad like Shabba Rankin. Yeah. None of them. Okay, all right. Big up on yourself. We will surely see on stage tonight the crowning of Vybz Kartel, the king of the dancehall. All right, big up on yourself. Thank you so much for participating. The business report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Lawmakers in the U.S. have passed the country's first major national cryptocurrency legislation. It is a major milestone for the once fringe industry, which has been lobbying Congress over regulation for years and poured millions into last year's election, backing candidates that included Donald Trump. The bill sets up a regulatory regime for so-called stablecoins, a kind of cryptocurrency backed by assets seen as reliable, such as the dollar. Trump is expected to sign the legislation into law after the House passed the bill on Thursday, joining the Senate, which had approved the measure last month. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 27 cents to buy $1, 215 Jamaican dollars and 33 cents to buy £1, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 67 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now, protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Northeastern St. Anne, come out in your numbers for the Jamaica Labour Party Ocherius and Exchange Joint Divisional Conference this Sunday, July 20. Exchange primary 5 p.m. hosted by your MP, the water boss Matthew Samuda. Here MPs Olivia Babs-Grange, Ed Bartlett, Darrell Vaz, Pernell Charles Jr. and Councillors Michael Belnavis, Ian Isaacs, Geneva Gordon-Bailey, Dallas Dickinson and others will bring active and strong messages of hope and prosperity. Yo, 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 Naughty St. Anne, you look good. You look ready. You sound ready. Hey, hey, hey. And even though a PMP is still a bad mind, the children them boss. The Jamaica Labour Party continues to choose policies and plans which are in the best interests of Jamaica. The Ocherius and Exchange Joint Divisional Conference this Sunday. Exchange primary 5 p.m. See you there.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Are you looking to drive sales and build brand visibility this summer? Be a vendor at the Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair on Saturday, August 9 at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth will be out in full force. And you should be too. Call us at 876-630-1210. Or email sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com to secure your spot. Let's put your brand where it matters, on the ground. As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now, protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
Calling all businesses. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair is heading to Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay on Saturday, August 9. And your brand should be there. With families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth expected to attend, it's the perfect chance to connect directly with back to school shoppers. Contact us at sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com or call 876-630-1210 to book your vendor space today.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Tyrone Reid.
We're turning our attention now to water conservation measures because water lockoffs are going to be imposed in sections of Kingston and St. Andrews starting on Monday. This amid drought conditions. Those are expected to linger until October. Now, the NWC is saying that lockoffs will run on intervals from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and 6 a.m. to 12 noon, and also from 12 noon to 6 p.m.
This is a recording. I've been waiting to say that. Customers who rely on the Mona network will be affected next Monday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. For customers of the Hope network, that supply will run alternately from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. 12 noon to 6 p.m., as well as 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in some communities.
Yeah, with us now to tell us more about what's happening, we have the Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the NWC, Delano Williams. Good evening, Delano.
Greetings, Sir Delano. How are things, man?
I'm good, gentlemen. Good evening to you and your listeners.
All right.
I just want to
go ahead.
Just quickly chime in with what I think is a correction. The Constant Spring Network is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then a rotation to 6 p.m. from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following morning for some other areas. The Hope Network has two communities that are served between 6 a.m. and noon, and then from noon. So those are Gordon Town areas and the Kintyre areas.
Delano, are you on speaker or you have us on a headset?
Possibly a headset.
All right.
I can disconnect.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
We're talking to the Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the NWC, Delano Williams, taking us through what's expected come next Monday. Water restrictions in Kingston and St. Andrews sections of the corporate area. That's due to the drought now affecting the country. We don't expect rainfall to return to normal until October. So you probably want to start filling up.
May I, Ricardo? So Delano, it sounds entirely confusing to me.
Right.
And I'm perhaps not the maybe it's because of my annoyance level why this sounds utterly confusing to me. Why, for example, we just read about the customers of the Hope network that supply. Now, which network are you on, Ricardo?
So I'm not sure.
That's also the other thing, which is why I asked you. I didn't expect you to know the answer, right? So, I'm not trying to show up your lack of knowledge.
Perhaps Mona. I'm saying
for the average person, how does the average person know which network they're on, Sir Delano?
Right. So we've been publishing these. We've published a full list of the areas. The information is also being shared on our website. We are emailing to those customers that we have the schedule, and we have also updated it to our mobile app. So what it means is that persons can literally check from the long list of areas which network they fall in and to find the corresponding service times that they are supplied. From a general, since we have the opportunity here, though, I could give you a little walkthrough over the next minute or two to help persons just to get their bearings, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
No, man, that's absolutely fine because we want people to be informed, right?
All right, cool. So when you're in the city, Constant Spring Zone starts from pretty much Duane Park. Everything coming straight up and on the left up to Constant Spring Road. Those areas are influenced by Constant Spring, and they extend into Halfway Tree and Hagley Park Road. So how we've done it is, with the reduction in water supply, we can't serve all those areas at once. The areas above Ministry of Justice, we put those in one zone, and we are supplying those. We call those the upper section of the Constant Spring network. We supply those areas in the evenings from 6 p.m. through to 6 a.m. the following morning. there is a substantial more business daytime operations on the communities or the premises below Ministry of Justice, or if you call it Marketplace, right in that intersection between West Kings House Road, Constant Spring Road, running across to Eastwood Park Road. All right, that's our imaginary boundary. The areas below that coming into Halfway Tree, so you're talking about Eastwood Park, Waltham, Hagley Park areas, they are served daytime between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And I just want to add that the word between is important because water is not an instantaneous delivery, meaning we don't necessarily, when we flip the valves, it's not a switch, so everybody will not get water in the same instance. The network is going to take some time to charge.
How long can you forewarn your customers that it might take once you flip that switch or you turn on the valves for them to get water? What's the longest possible wait?
I would say for any areas that have some incline, perhaps give or take a 2-hour window for near normal supply to get to them. Where we have challenges beyond that, we invite persons to connect with us. If it means that we have to have standby trucking to help to augment those persons who cannot be served, then we will make those arrangements.
And for those who may need the trucking, how do they reach out to you to have the NWC know that they need
our
water?
toll-free number is 888-225-5692. That number is connects customers to our customer service agents. Persons may also utilize our web chat, or they can utilize the regular direct line to our offices, which is 727-8054. So any one of those two numbers or the web chat. The mobile app also allows persons to submit requests, and those who want to utilize emails can utilize customercare@nwc.com.jm.
Mm-hmm.
So we provided a bunch of contacts for them to access us.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what are the current levels in the storage facilities?
So Mona is at 47%, giving you the approximate figure, 46.3 in fact. So we are below half. And then what is critical is not just the below half, is also looking at what is the reduction in what is coming in, which is why the regulations become necessary. So you're pulling down more than what the rivers are yielding or the Yalas pipeline is yielding to put it back. The Hermitage, which feeds the Constant Spring network, is at 58, and that's 58% of 393 million gallons. Again, the decisions we've made are based on the reduction in what is the fall-off we've had, and so on. And notwithstanding the fact that we've actually tried our best to work within the decline in inflows. So, for instance, last year, regulation started in April. So we are 3 months later. Much credit to the best use of the rainfall that we've had over the early part of this year and the ongoing gains that we've had from the non-water reduction program.
Non-water revenue reduction program, yes.
There you go.
Which leads us to a question I had. I want to go back to the time frames that you have here, but let me ask you this since you've touched on it. Generally, people complain that at some point throughout the year, when there's an abundance of riches, the NWC has to release water from some of the catchment facilities. Did that occur this year?
In terms of releasing, no, we would have been harnessing. So once we have a glut of water, the reservoir and the Mona the Mona Reservoir and the Hermitage Dam, we lock them in. So we keep them at maximum, and we take water exclusively from the river or pipeline sources that feed into those two storage systems, and we maximize water.
So there is no releasing of water this year. That didn't happen.
No, substantially, you're gonna find that we're always the discussion is rife about just the build out of expansion to cater for the growing needs of the city. One of those solutions is the Rio Cobre pipeline that you would have seen work is now underway in the Content Rio Cobre site to import 15 million gallons of water into St. Catherine and also the western side of Kingston. That work is in train. It will be facilitated through the new pipelines that are on Mandela, which were completed a few years ago. So essentially, what you're looking at is there has been some thought about the growing needs and how best we can manage what we have while also putting new systems in to ensure that there's water resilience.
Just to go back to the time frames for the availability of water, 6 a.m. to 12 noon, 12 noon to 6 p.m., as well as 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in some communities, right? And this was as it relates to the Hope Network, right? And you said the information is available. If you want to see where your community is, you can go to the website, to the social media pages of the NWC, yes? But why this, why are the times varying like this? Why not just supply the water at one particular time for the residents in this particular area? What's the thinking behind that?
So it's not just thinking so much as just a reality of with the decline we have, the Hope system, which feeds Papine and its environs, cannot carry the load to serve everybody at once. So for some time, we've had regulation, meaning water is alternated in those areas. And the timing is a little bit more crunched now because we are seeing a further decline. To put it into context, Sir Reed and listeners, when we consulted with the Met Office, they pointed out to us that Kingston and St. Andrew would not have had what they term as significant rainfall since November 2024. Understand? So the rural areas, so since we've had that heavy space that filled the major storage systems, and typically in December coming into January you have a dip, the rains that have come have not been termed as significant to the point where...
Maybe I didn't ask the question properly there, my brother. What I'm really asking about is it does appear that the times when residents will be getting the water, it seems to be varying. So you might get it at 6 a.m. to 12 noon one day. You might get it from 12 noon to 6 p.m. one day. You might get it 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm saying, how should that be interpreted? What is the thinking behind that if that's the case?
No, man. Let's go again with the schedule then.
Yeah.
So, I did misinterpret you. So the times are fixed for the specific areas.
Okay.
So 6 a.m. So Gordon Town, which is one of the areas you pointed to, on a daily basis, they will get water between 6 a.m. and 12 noon. That's a daily basis. Kintyre will get water from 12 noon through to 6 p.m. So that is fixed throughout whatever time we anticipate.
However long the lockup, the water restrictions will be in place. All right. So which takes me to another question. So now that I understand that you're not alternating it, what about those who might not be home between 6 a.m. to 12 noon and they're not able to utilize the services to store up on water? How do we go about assisting those individuals?
Right. So we've looked at the demand of those particular areas. Substantially, Gordon Town is being fed in the daytime because it is substantially more a business area. Kintyre has more residential structures to it, so they get water in the afternoon. That's the same science we utilize with the Constant Spring network, where the supply to the communities is targeting when they are more populated or there is a lot of activity going on. Notwithstanding, you're going to have exceptions to it. That's where we encourage persons, once you're mindful of the schedule, to see what arrangements you can put in place to ensure that you capture water even though you may not be home. So if it means asking a relative to do so and timing it as best as you can to receive water while the supply is being delivered through the pipes.
Ricardo?
All right. No, that's it from me. Delano, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sir Delano. Have a good one.
As I leave you, just remind you that the Mona network, which we didn't touch, is from Mona Road running straight down to Rockfort. And those areas are served on one fixed timeline from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That, in a nutshell, would be the third aspect of the regulation.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Delano. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a good one.
Now, this is an important announcement from the National Water Commission. The NWC wishes to advise the public that it will be repairing a section of the sewer pipeline network that runs along Railway Lane in Montego Bay, St. James, from 6 a.m. on Monday, July 21, 2025, to 6 p.m. on Friday, August 15, 2025. During this period, Railway Lane between Lightbody Avenue and Barracks Road will be closed to vehicular traffic, so motorists are asked to use alternate routes. As a result of this necessary work, there may also be some dust and noise nuisances. The NWC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and craves the patience and understanding of the public. That was an important announcement from the National Water Commission. We're up on the break. We're going to take the break, and after the break, another state of emergency has been declared in the Twin Island Republic. What's happening there?
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 7 o'clock.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's commencement ceremony at the National Arena on July 20. This year's ceremony, held under the theme Building Future Leaders, Breaking Barriers, will honor the ambition and accomplishments of their graduates. And that's not all. Expect an installation of their new Chancellor, Professor Jan McIntyre. UCC is shaping bold thinkers through world-class Doctor of Business Administration and professional practice programs. It's your time to rise, lead, and disrupt limits. So tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, Sunday, July 20, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's the Commonwealth Caribbean's commencement ceremony at the National Arena. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM from 6 to 9 p.m. as we broadcast from the Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street, Almond Town, Sunday, July 20. Hear from Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie alongside Members of Parliament Donovan Williams, Darrell Vaz, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Delroy Chuck, and others. It's the Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting at the intersection of Hitchin and Great George's Street in Almond Town, Sunday, July 20. From 6 to 9 p.m. right here, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the West Kingston constituency and the Jamaica Labour Party. Due to the broadcast of the Central Kingston Choose Jamaica public meeting on Sunday, July 20, Jamaican Dads, Immaculate Moments, and Baha'i Faith will not be aired.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Please be advised that on Sunday, July 20, the Mayor's Parlor will air at 12 p.m. This will temporarily replace the usual broadcast of Amazing Word at that time. We apologize for any inconvenience.
3 minutes after 7, we're turning our attention now to the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, our CARICOM neighbor. Well, a declaration has been made for a new state of emergency, and this is due to what's being described as a plot by a criminal network operating in prisons to kill key government officials and to attack public institutions. Now, that plot was uncovered through intelligence gathering and what's described as encrypted messages exchanged via smuggled cell phones. Joining us now, senior multimedia journalist for TV6 and The Express, One Caribbean Media, Alexander Brizual. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Brizual, that's fine.
Brizual, all right.
Brizual.
Good evening.
On top of the afternoon to you. Yes, good evening.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
All right. So what new can you tell us about what's happening in Trinidad?
In terms of new, besides the information that's already been made public, that the government has announced a state of emergency as of last night, the police service has conducted several operations removing gang leaders from the maximum security prison that we have in Aruca and placing them in unidentified location to limit their ability to communicate to persons on the outside. That and police operations also continue throughout the country, but in terms of how the state of emergency is affecting the country, everything is currently running more or less as normal. For now, at least, I should say.
What Ricardo just read there, Sir Alexander, sounds like the plot from one of those, from a crime thriller, a blockbuster. Can't believe it's happening. Within the Caribbean. How did the authorities gather the intelligence and on the plot, and what role did these encrypted messages play in uncovering this plot?
Well, in terms of encrypted messages, I can't speak too much on it because everything would be hearsay because it's currently a very sensitive topic in terms of national security. So a lot of information has not been divulged to the public. What I can say is that the police service last night, as confirmed by current Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara, unearthed certain information which led them to believe that the best course of action would be to advise the current government to declare a state of emergency. It does sound something out of a novel, out of a thriller, but the easiest way I've described it to my own colleagues and my own friends is that if the information that the investigators have received, whether credible or not credible is a situation to debate it on a later date, it's better to act on said intelligence now. And the best way to act on, one of the ways available to them to act quickly on said intelligence would be to enact a state of emergency, whereas police officers won't have to secure search warrants or have to go through the necessary channels to find the alleged high-powered ammunition, high-powered weaponry that is alleged, again, to be in circulation and being targeted against certain officials and certain national entities.
Mm-hmm. And Alexander, I gather there's some amount of controversy about the appearance or not of the Prime Minister. I recall when the Rowley government had declared a state of emergency, she branded him a coward for not showing up in person to make that announcement and give details. I understand your Attorney General was the one who provided the details today, and he may have said the Prime Minister needed sleep and she had not slept for 2 days. What more can you tell us about what's happening on that front?
And again, that would be speculative. But what we can say in terms of information provided to us is, yes, the Prime Minister, according to the Attorney General and according to a statement that she herself released later today, during the day, was that since last night when the Commissioner of Police raised the information towards her and direct advised her that a state of emergency may be the best course of action, she has been up, according to her release, according to the Attorney General, and she's been helping coordinate, provide necessary resources to the police service, to the Defense Force. Under our Constitution, under our laws, the Defense Force now has powers of arrest, powers to search. They have powers that are not associated with them on a typical day without a state of emergency being declared. So there can be some credibility to it.
But having branded Rowley a coward, have you been able to gather why she would then take what would obviously then be described as another cowardly act of staying away?
That is a conversation for. It'll all be perspective, and it's not my place to say X, Y, and Z. What I can say and can acknowledge.
Did she in fact brand him a coward?
She did.
She made a certain comment at the time because even according to
and now she has stayed away.
Right. But again, according to her own, the information provided by her own government, it's because she's been up since last night, up whole day today, and she was not available.
That sounds like spin. That sounds like spin. Not on your part, not on your part, but on the government's part.
No, not on your part, right? Because if she did in fact accuse him and then she stayed away, that would require some explanation, one would think.
I understand. But like I said, to be fair to that own question, she has been one of those, prior to the elections, she was calling for a state of emergency on several different occasions to deal with crime. And then when the then PNM government declared the state of emergency on December 30th, is when the information was spun to be, it's a tactic because we're going into election season. So without commenting, that's just the information as is, without giving any commentary on the behaviors of police.
No, we don't expect you to be able to speak on behalf of the Prime Minister. She hasn't addressed the matter. We just wanted to know if she did, in fact, address it because of what she said. But what's the mood on the ground like, though, Alexander, for the people of Trinidad and Tobago in response to this information, which is, I gather this could put the fear of God into a lot of people?
It's not fair, but I don't even want to say annoyance or
Alexander?
Unsatisfaction. Yeah, no, I was trying to find the exact words. It's a
dissatisfaction.
It's a feeling of dissatisfaction because you will, even throughout today, we had several individuals from the chambers, the various energy chambers, the economic chambers. We had former Commissioner of Police and former politician Gary Griffith. We even had the current opposition, PNM, discounting like there were other steps that could have been taken instead of declaring a state of emergency. Now, the thing about the entirety of it, and again, just to be fair, not picking any sides, is if there is actual credible information, and information is not evidence, but if there's actual credible information that can be acted on and that the authorities think that deserve to be acted on, then, again, without saying yea or nay for the state of emergency, it becomes understandable because it gives the police certain powers to immediately react, to immediately go and investigate, to immediately conduct searches in certain areas. Because we had the Attorney General today stating during his live press conference that the fact that his building was still standing is a testament that the state of emergency was effective. Because there's been allegations of very high-powered weaponry that would be in circulation to be used against high-placed individuals.
So, which is what I want to get to. I don't know if this information would have been made public, but the state of public emergency declared on the premise that there's a plot to kill key government officials and attack public institutions. Did the government officials, were those to be so targeted named?
No one has been directly named as of this hour. The closest we can say is, as I mentioned just now, is that the Attorney General giving an example of the effectiveness of the state of emergency, saying that his building was still standing because certain high-powered weaponry were not used. Now, the details of it have not been made public as of this hour, and we're hoping that they would be made public soon to validate the decisions. But as of right now, it's the atmosphere of questions because you genuinely don't know exactly why certain things have been put in place. You are going to hope and trust in the state, but a lot of people don't trust in the state as is. So,
yeah. All right, Alexander, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
That's not a problem. Anytime.
Yeah, man, and be safe, and we'll keep watching what's unfolding in TNT.
No, I appreciate it, and y'all keep good as well.
All right.
Indeed.
You know, Tyrone, it's so interesting because...
It's wild, isn't it?
It is, but my point is regional governments, I mean, Jamaica started from as far back as 2018, I think it was, with the routine declarations. And you know what a hot button issue it became here. Our courts, certainly the lower court, ultimately finding it unconstitutional. Now, Trinidad appears to be taking a similar trek because they've seen a significant increase in violent crimes. What they've said is above and beyond the capacity of their security forces. And I was surprised to hear even prime ministers like Mia Mottley and Ralph Gonsalves indicating that something has to give because of the level of violent crime in this region. So it's something to watch. You're right. It's absolutely something to watch across CARICOM.
And you do know that Latin America and the Caribbean, the murder rate is in Latin America and the Caribbean, I think, is the highest anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is definitely which, you know, I'm not so certain. There's a famous saying that says the law is not always right. Not certain if you're familiar with it. Or words to that effect. Do you recall? You're familiar with this statement?
I'm not, but I'd go a step further. I'd go a step
about
further.
The law not always being right. That ruling against the state of public emergency and the use of it, it has to be challenged.
I go a step further. I wouldn't just say the law is not always right. I'd say in this instance that ruling was dead wrong. It makes for very troubling reading, and I agree with you that it should be challenged and the government should be prepared to take it all the way to the final appellate court.
Do you recall the ruling against Paula Llewellyn in the lower court?
I do, yes.
I was shocked by some of what was concluded
yes.
in that case, and I was thinking to myself, clearly, this has to be challenged. And the higher court found that the lower court did not do the right thing, and it wouldn't surprise me if a higher court finds that this ruling, some of the conclusions,
dubious.
Are worrying, yes.
Dubious conclusions.
In fact, terms of what constitutes an emergency and the fact that the murder rate has been high for however long means it.
Yes.
What?
Yes. I having sat through the oral arguments and submissions in that Paula Llewellyn matter, let me tell you, when the Supreme Court did rule, I was stunned. I'm no lawyer, But I distinctly left those arguments concluding the government had the stronger case. So when the ruling came, I was surprised. Turns out, wasn't
it almost sounded personal in the Paula Llewellyn case.
It did.
which is not a good thing for someone who is just observing to conclude.
Make that conclusion.
But it almost sounded. I don't know if you had the same
I did.
feeling, but
I
almost sounded
I did.
personal.
Certainly in reading it. Yeah.
Right.
But
like, how dare you, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Let's see. There's another matter, Tyrone.
Yes.
On social media. And I chuckle because it's so interesting how different people can see the same thing and form a completely different interpretation and conclusion. I'm talking about the matter of the post made by the Member of Parliament for South East St. Anne. Yeah?
Do we have the post?
Lisa Hanna. The producer stepped out. I'm not sure if she has it ready. But in summary, there was a development regarding the toll plaza. The Works Minister posted, Lisa Hanna herself in the past has had an issue with tolls and making payment via card, and she had vented about it. She was very upset. There's some development now apparently that will allow the use of the card for payment. The Works Minister posted her picture, and again, that's a matter of interpretation. You can interpret what he was trying to say, whether he was mocking her or he was saying, here's a win for her, because different people have interpreted it differently.
He was being cheeky.
Right. Lisa Hanna responded by taunting him about the Blue Dot poll, a JLP commission poll, which showed him ahead, and she said to him, you'd better hope that poll is right, essentially. And then the image that she posted that accompanied the post was an AI-generated image of a gorilla in a, what do you call it now, marina, wife beater. And the gorilla says something to the effect.
I've never understood that name in that.
Yeah, me either. I don't know why it's called that. And the gorilla said something to the effect of a zookeeper boy or something like that. I'm grabbing them color and say, a zookeeper boy. And my first reaction when I saw it was, this is dicey. Because you don't want to respond to a black man with a gorilla. There are always racial undertones there. So my first reaction was, not sure that was the right move, Miss Hannah. But then the gorilla is saying a zookeeper boy. So it then raised in my mind whether she was calling him the zookeeper and she being the gorilla, or she was being cheeky and saying, go on from right so with your ugly gorilla self, which opened her up to the accusations of classism, racism, and all the rest of it that we're seeing on social media now. How did you see it?
No, can I tell you that this came to me while I was on air early today, hosting Cliff Fusion Line. Now, someone messaged me on Twitter, whose name I will not call here. It's a follower. I don't think the person is a public official, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the person says to me, if I've seen this tweet, right? Have you seen the post on X from Miss Hannah Rhea, post from Minister Morgan? And the person has in bracket, please don't mention my name. So I said, no, I haven't actually seen it. Could you please share it here? And the person said the post may have been deleted. But basically, she responded to the post with a monkey/gorilla. A number of persons saw it and referenced it to being racist, is what the person is saying to me. And then when I saw the tweet, Ricardo, I could not believe what I was looking at. Now, Lisa Hanna is a communications expert. No, she studied journalism. I think that's what she studied.
I know she has a master's in communication, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and she hosted Rapping. I'm not sure if you remember, if you're too young to remember that. I think she was one of the hosts of Rapping, a youth program that aired on television back in the day.
Yes.
Now, so it was posted, and the only thing that was there is, you better hope, said the Blue Dot poll, right, with a is that a winking emoji? Because
Yes.
I'm not very fluent in
Yes,
emojis.
it is.
You know? Sorry, I can hardly make them out, right?
It is,
So
Elder. It
I
is.
don't know if she's trying.
You don't mind, Elder. Never mind, Pops. Never mind, Pops. It is.
No, she may have been attempting to be cheeky, but the gorilla can be misconstrued.
Yes, absolutely.
And as a communications expert, I'm thinking she should have been seized of that fact.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure she could have made her point without resorting to this image. I don't understand it. I don't understand what her train of thought was in using this. Only Miss Anna could tell us that. But this can be, I can see people having an issue with this.
She did provide some explanation after the backlash started. If I could just pull it up. She responded in a thread.
Yeah, but when one becomes arrogant. So enamored. Yes. Right, but I don't think it explains why she
chose
used
the gorilla.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And as I said, there are obvious racial undertones. There is no question about that. And as you said, she should have known better, because these are cultural sensitivities that she, as a former Miss World, a public figure that has graced the international stage, would be very well aware of.
But perhaps she's thinking, as a woman of color, she wouldn't be accused of being racist towards a black man.
Well, that would mean that there's a shocking level of what's the word I'm looking for? She'd not be very aware of what's going on around her, because I don't think that protects her at all. Especially because she's seen as of a particular ilk, vis-a-vis somebody like Robert Morgan, who has always told you that he's a poor rural boy, grew up poor, etc., etc. And she grew up in St. Mary, I gather, so dicey issues of class and privilege and yeah.
I don't know. Look, we she says she's retired from the politics, right? So
she's not retired not retired from the. I don't know why she says that. She continues to earn a taxpayer salary unless she stopped getting it. I don't know that.
Meaning she's in the departure lounge.
That's not retirement. Right? That's not retirement. She shouldn't say that. She's actually still a sitting member of parliament. She's not retired. I don't know what that means.
Well, but this achieves the opposite of what she had hoped. She's saying, don't draw me into the fray, but she has basically ignited a firestorm of her own. Has the minister responded to it publicly?
He did. Ricardo? Yes, man, he did. He responded, and he basically suggested that it was a racist post, and he was taken aback by it because he didn't think his jesting required her to respond in that way. And to get that from his colleague MP, he said, was particularly, hurtful, essentially, is what he was saying.
Yeah, it's have you seen her post in recent, the things that she posts on a regular basis? Have you seen them?
They come across my timeline from time to time.
What say you of them?
I haven't the slightest idea what to make of them. I don't know. I don't know if Miss Hannah is now just a social media influencer. I don't know if she's a motivational speaker. I don't know what to make of it. But she does give motivational messages, so I suppose that puts her in the category of motivational speaker. I don't know.
It gives the appearance that she's leaning heavily on her pulchritude, though.
Which has always been the case. I
tell you.
And if you got it, flaunt it. Why not? If it works for you, it works for you. That's what I say.
I don't know.
That has been but it has been part of her political brand. It has been part of her brand.
But these posts in recent times that I'm seeing, I can't say I'm a fan that I follow her. I'm not really a fan of anyone like that, right? So perhaps I'm a bad example, but the ones that I'm seeing coming across my timeline, no. There seems to be an overt attempt though trying to appear covert, to lean into it a little bit more than you'd usually notice.
And it could be that perhaps she wants to so separate herself, which she attempts to do in her response to this controversy, to so separate herself from the politics and the political arena that Jamaicans no longer see her as a politician. And there are several reasons why she would want to do that. Maybe a time will come, not so far from now, where she will rely
on that catchphrase.
Where she will rely on the goodwill of the Jamaican people for some purpose. So perhaps it will be helpful for her. We'll see.
Well, she closed her thing by saying, "Please leave me out of the campaigning, not my circus, not my monkey. I've retired," she says.
No, she's not
as
retired.
You pointed out,
she's not retired. As far as I know, she has not submitted a letter of resignation to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. She's a sitting member of Parliament.
She's very much employed.
Absolutely.
But she has said that she's in the departure lounge. I think the former, the MP, the current MP, should withdraw and apologize. This is clearly in poor taste, regardless of what is meant. It can easily be misconstrued. It is in poor taste, and Lisa Hanna should withdraw and apologize to the minister for this. I really don't think this was well thought out at all.
And what's interesting is that in recent days, I don't know if you've been seeing it on social media, those who are unhappy with the leadership of Mark Golding, you see them saying, "Boy, we could have had Lisa instead." You've seen those posts, yes?
Yeah, and people always say that, but, well, I guess, can you get any worse than Marky G? I'm not so sure.
That's uncharitable,
because he hasn't done a great job, I don't think. But would Miss Hanna have been proven to be better?
As she says, not her circus, not her monkey.
I'm not sure of that either. Has she so distinguished herself, in her political career that you think she would be?
I'm trying to remember her tenure as youth and culture minister. Nothing stands out to me. Nothing stands out to me. And I don't recall her being particularly effective either as the spokesperson on foreign affairs.
Right, which is where I was going, because I can't recall who told me of an incident that they called about a matter that fell under the portfolio of the spokesperson on foreign affairs, and she directed them to, I think, reach out to Katie Knight, I think it was, and she was the opposition spokesperson at the time.
Oh, is that right?
And so there is this feeling among some folks that she's not as prepared as one ought to be. I'm trying to be charitable. You just accused me of not being charitable, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to be measured. You see where I'm going with this?
I do.
Would and there are people who, accused, and I'm not going to name the politician of not being intelligent, which I don't think was right or true. I think the person was intelligent, but as I've said previously, that I just think the individual didn't take the time to know. They didn't take the time to inform themselves.
Didn't study their brief.
Right, and sometimes what I'm being told is the impression is being given that she may very well fall in that category. That is what I'm getting from some people who have spoken of her.
I see. Perhaps her presiding over the the Independent Jamaica 50, didn't she preside over that in 2012? I think so.
Yeah, that's. I'm an elder knowing. I can't recall.
I think so. I think she would have. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
But can you, if I ask you to tell me one thing that she has done that has so distinguished her political career, that you'd say, I'll remember her for this, what would that be?
Yeah, that's a tough question, but is that a fair question? Because she was youth minister for 4 years, and then I think her entire tenure otherwise has been in opposition, hasn't it?
All right, so she was a cabinet minister for one term, you say?
Well, yes, 4 years is my recollection, and then from 7 to 11, she would have been in opposition, and then she'd have been in opposition from 16 to 20, and again from 20 to now. So she spent the majority of her time in opposition, actually.
Oh man, but when did she enter government? Tell me again. Sorry, where did it start?
She entered parliament in 07.
Parliament
is my recollection.
Right, and that would have been under the Bruce Golding would have been prime minister at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2011 to 16, she's when she would have
been the youth and culture minister. Yes.
All right, and then 16 to 20, and then
she went back to opposition, and then 2025 she's been in opposition. Yes.
Right. Right. So, but she has always been among the more popular figures in the party, easily.
You know, for sure.
Yes.
Polling says that consistently.
Easily,
yes, absolutely.
Easily the polls have shown. But just so I'm now asking you, is there something that she has done that has caused that to be so? Can you recall one thing to say?
I don't know if it's this. I don't know if the popularity is as a result of her time in Parliament. I think Jamaicans.
It was probably before
precisely.
that.
Jamaicans liked her before
That's true. The residue.
And she
brought
a claim to the country.
No, that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Because I mean, a lot of that time has been. She has had a troubled time in her constituency. Quite apart from the cabinet posting or the national profile of being an opposition spokesperson, we should remind ourselves she has had a troubled time in that constituency. The councillors, feuding with the councillors, the challenge to her leadership in the constituency, all of that, she's had a hard time. And then, of course, 2020, that shock result, where a safe, traditionally safe PMP seat, she was basically brought to her knees in that seat.
Well, you are more up on your politics than I am, Ricardo. Do you think she would have made a better opposition leader than Mark Golding, given the circumstances?
Tyrone, it's a Friday. Why are you putting me on the spot like that, my brother?
Yes or no, bro? Come on. Do you think she would be? She would have been?
What's the metric we're using?
No, but just overall, I mean, we're not you're not trying to tie it down to anything in particular, just based on what you've seen from Mark Golding, because Mark Golding has made several major gaffes, since he's been opposition leader.
All right, put it this way.
Not the least of them being that chain incident.
What do you say, Sonia? If I judge the opposition leader on readiness and suitability to be Prime Minister of Jamaica, and then I say, okay, what can I use to say whether somebody could be primus inter pares and could lead the country? I would have to say no. I don't think she'd have done a better job as opposition leader. Here's why. Because at the very least, I can point to distinct things that Mark Golding has done before he became opposition leader, such that I could say, okay, at least he has been a capable legislator. I think, Mike, this is just me now, he was a very good justice minister. And therefore, if I look at that, I say, okay, maybe he could then, perhaps.
Which isn't an unreasonable conclusion.
Right. But I'm saying I wouldn't know what to use to say Miss Hannah could potentially be the Prime Minister.
Watch the link now, Sir Ricardo,
yes,
as
sir.
they say in the streets. It is that very thing that would have made Mark Golding a suitable candidate for PNP president, But they've gone away from that. Are they leaning into his legislative strength?
I think recently it started to come up a little bit more. I noticed
they're leaning into is Marky G.
No, but I noticed the General Secretary has been bringing up his legislative accomplishments in recent times, very recently.
But that has not been the focal point.
Right. No, that's true.
Of their branding of Mark Golding.
And that may be because there was a pressure to make him relatable. There maybe have been an insecurity that he did not seem relatable. And
not
so they
a pressure,
leaned in,
but an insecurity.
Yeah, and so they leaned into Marky
pressure.
G. Right?
Here's the thing. So Prime Minister Holness started out as being a little, people saw him as a bit of a more professorial than aloof would probably be strong, because he represented a constituency that gave him a certain kind of street cred, but he was still seen as just being a brainy person. Clearly he was prime ministerial from his days as education minister. People saw it, right? He was being groomed by Edward Seaga. It was the writing was on the wall. It was clear for all to see. But there was this effort now to make him more relatable, to give him a bit more of an edge and some more street cred. And I think the PNP's thought now, in order to compete with Prime Minister Holness, they need to do the same thing with Mark Golding. And so they leaned into this OC. Mark Jefferson Golding, OC, Marky G. They've been leaning into it, and it has not really presented him as being prime ministerial. It has given the opposite view of that. And that latest gaffe with him and the expletive on the stage is all born out of this persona called Marky G.
Tyrone, as I listen to you, it shows me how sometimes politicians, they're such strange creatures, because at once you have to be all things to all people. Because I can imagine the struggle of somebody who comes from privilege and class, thinking, I have to appeal to a base, the majority of who they have not lived my life. They don't have my experiences. And so I may have to behave one way. And then I can imagine there are other people like yourself who look on and say, I do not want a prime minister who panders like that, who behaves like that. And so he must try to hold all things within himself and be all things to all people. It's a difficult thing. And perhaps that's why, not everybody can be prime minister.
Perhaps, but here's the thing. You need to show me that you are relatable. You don't need to change your persona entirely, which is what they have attempted to do with Mark Golding. Show me that you can be that man in the streets. But I still want to know that if you're in the boardroom, you're going to be prime ministerial. Yes. Right? But you can show me that. But they've gone beyond that. They I don't want to say Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because it's. But I'm just hoping that you see where I'm going.
No, I get you.
Where they've caused this other persona, which is supposed to just be what you show people so that people can see that he's relatable, to become the dominant figure. Listen to him on the political platform, how he sounds. I have. More often than not.
I listen to most.
This has become his dominant persona.
And it is at odds. It is at odds with his presentation and bearing in Parliament. There is a dissonance there.
Lean into his legislative strength. Yes, what he did as Justice Minister. He was integral in the decriminalization of marijuana, wasn't he?
Yes, and piloting the IMF bills. Piloting a lot of and preparing a lot of those bills.
This is an ordinary man on the street issue, the sensimania, the weed. Right? So there are so many other ways they could have leaned into that, but they didn't. There's a comment on our YouTube page about Lisa Anna from former journalist, let me say retired journalist. I'm not certain if she'd want me to describe her like that. Auntie Babs, please forgive me. Barbara Ellington saying, she was of Lisa Anna. She was and is our most beautiful Miss World. But I find her aloof. She's intelligent, but she's popular for her beauty, not our most successful politician. I love to see her step out.
All right. 20 minutes to 8 now, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Time for you to have your say. It's a difficult thing, Tyrone, but let's see. We have a little ways to go, and I suspect the Jamaican people are still doing their marking and doing their assessments. They soon enter the grade, so we'll see. Take a break and come back with more.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking them beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
This is an important announcement from the National Water Commission. The NWC wishes to advise the public that due to drought conditions, water supply regulations will come into effect for sections of the Kingston and St. Andrew parishes starting on Monday, July 1 for the Mona and Hope networks and Wednesday, July 23 for the Constant Spring network. The supply times for each facility in the affected areas can be found at nwcjamaica.com or on our social media pages at NWCJam. Customers affected by the water supply regulations are encouraged to store water for use outside of the scheduled supply hours and conserve water where possible. The NWC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and craves the patience and understanding of the public. That was an important announcement from the National Water Commission. Alric, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Tyrone.
Hi. Greetings, Mas Ali. Before you give us your thoughts, Mas Ali, may I just say, Sir Ricardo, if you permit me, Cheryl Griffiths on our YouTube channel is saying, yes, Tyrone, but you know how many youths mad out because of weed. I wasn't seeking to endorse marijuana. I wouldn't tell anyone to smoke it. I was just pointing out that it is an ordinary man in the streets kind of issue. That's the point I was making. Not an endorsement for anyone to smoke weed at all. All right, just to be clear. All right, Sir Alwi, the floor is yours. Give thanks, man. Good to be with you.
Yeah, man, quite a while. Before I go, you guys, I was listening to that very interesting conversation earlier on Tyrone. What I really wanted to talk about, but what went on between the minister and Lisa, and I just heard it bypassed from you guys. What really went on?
Well, apparently he posted a photo of her in relation to a development with the toll, and she had a run-in with some toll operators over payment, not being able to use her card to pay for passage on the toll road. And I gather because that development happened, that you'll be able to use your pay electronically. The minister posted a photo of her, and she responded with this what seems to be an AI-generated image of a gorilla / monkey in a marina, saying some words, right? Yeah. So it seems that it was a jab at the minister, basically, it seems.
Okay, very unfortunate. But listening to you and Tyrone sparring, what I really called about was to talk about, I'll bypass that and just to try and get involved in what you and Tyrone are discussing about Lisa. Lisa came into the politics based on the popularity because of winning the Miss World competition. You know? So they could have thrown her into any constituency minus the Garrisons and she would have won. But she didn't have a good stretch of good innings as an MP down in Centre. She ended up with a whole lot of problems, and there's nothing standing out that you could say that she made a mark, and so she has something she can hold on to. I think she held on because of the popularity, and it waned after a while in her constituency. She just lost the touch with the common people.
All right. Well, I don't I don't want to say anything more. I don't want to be accused any further of being uncharitable. So,
That's not being
I will respond. I will respond, Eric. I mean, come after. But no, Eric, I don't know about her not being in touch with the common man, or I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, certainly the image she portrays on social media suggests that she's still a regular Jamaican woman.
Yes, but in our constituency, she has a too much
regular.
She brought that seat almost from a seat that the PNP never thought that it would have lost to a point where they almost lost it, and our councillors turned against her. So
that is a fact. That is a fact that it has seriously been weakened under her tenure. That is true. The numbers have been falling. That is true. That's
numbers don't lie, Ricardo.
Yes.
And Tyrone. Numbers don't lie. No.
That is true.
So I'm just listening to what John Tyrone said. I'm just sorry that it had to go that way. I don't know if Mr. Morgan was joking, but before the weekend is out, I'll see if I can bring myself up to speed on it. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend. I enjoy the
Thank you.
And Tyrone.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Ricardo calling you pops, man.
Yeah,
I'm an elder brother,
Yeah, right. I've been in this thing for more than 20 years now, so I have to accept that,
All right, guys. Have a good weekend, man.
Thanks. All right, man. Thanks, and likewise to you and the family.
My elder brother in faith.
Somebody's insisting that we mention, Ricardo, that a good friend of mine, that Lisa Hanna was the lead minister on the Jamaica 50 celebration.
Yes, as the culture minister.
That is this individual believes it is consequential. It is important enough for us to make note.
I cited it. I did. I cited it.
Yes, I know. So I'm saying, all right. I think I did say that you did earlier. Yeah. So someone else is raising it with me. If I didn't say it, someone else is raising it with me. But my question was: is that sufficient to build a legacy on? That is the question I asked. Is that sufficient to build a legacy on?
Yeah.
Not too many of our politicians distinguish themselves, So she's not too far outside of the what we get from our political actors, Not too many of them distinguish themselves.
Fair. Chris.
Good night, Tyrone. Good night, Ricardo.
Chris. Good night, Chris.
Big up your producer for me tonight.
Why? You have to tell me why before my bigger up.
Boy, me come way up in the front line today.
Well, big up myself then, Sonia.
Yeah, big up my good friend. Yeah, because I know my number,
Okay.
All right, listen.
Yes.
Me, I talk a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
3 little points me I make quick, come on, enough more people can talk. Even my Papa Nana want hang on, my good friend.
Yes.
And Alric, Rolly friend from Linstead. Yeah, Rolly, I'm a good friend, and Alric, we spoke once, I don't meet yet, but we're going to meet. Marky G would never become opposition leader if Peter Bunting did win in seat, I want to know that.
I think that's a fair, may not, because I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have stood for the post, right?
I don't think no winning seat, Why Marky G come in a race, So him not a whole team friend, just in case.
Well, I don't. Well, I think
Peter Bunting would have been an error too.
I think I agree with you that he might not have stood had Bunting had a seat in the lower house. But I don't know. But I don't know if I agree with you that he would. He's just holding it now. I think he's.
When
you
tight. Hold certain things here, one girl and give one next girl in baby for hold, so he see him mother, and the girl hold the baby too long and want to get back because the other ones and all those things nice.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You understand me?
Okay.
So members say, don't not go and get it back because Marky G hold on to it, and if you look on stage, watch the video them. Every one of them, Mr. Bunting have one white cup of drink out. The other one have one next cup of drink out. I don't know if one mixture night. But it make them say something. I talk about it last night. And we know, I tell you. But me know them love vodka. For my friend Donga Chilani love the vodka and the nitro. And he make him talk about the scammer. All right, run off of that now. Next thing.
Let us just be clear that we don't know what they're drinking. And don't know what is
them
in the
drinking
cup.
something in a. Me know said my friend on Trelawney because he had confessed that when he talk about the scammer, I drink a little vodka.
Oh, I see.
And
I just say I don't know what they're drinking. What's the next point?
You don't know what's in their cup. So let's be clear on that.
What's in their cup stays in their cup.
What's the next point?
The next point. Me hear Mr. Crawford talking. Why can't call the election now? Why call it in a 2020 so early? You remember what happened in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
It was a year of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We were all watching the numbers. The number go up, come down, go up, come down. So one time, like when the number come down a bit, and the numbers was in a good direction, the Prime Minister had said, keep the federal now. You can have 50 people, you can have 20 now or so and so. So a 6-month window when you see that things are improved, him call it quickly. I am not talking on behalf of Mr. Morgan, the spokesman, but them not tell none of them story there, because of the uncertainty why the election was called.
No, but that was clear. That was clear. Nobody never tell me that. That's clear.
Mr. Monday, I said, why call it so early?
Yeah, because that's a convenient political argument to me. No.
The Prime Minister, I mean, people thought the Prime Minister shouldn't have called it at the either, given what we were looking at. Perhaps it should have continued to push back.
But my thing was balancing it against what was due, I think, in February of the following year, if I recall correctly. And it turns out
I don't remember what was happening in February next year.
It was a spike. There was a serious spike.
Right. So him want to get out of the spike. Yeah. So probably him never know because he couldn't predict what it's going to be.
We risked a constitutional crisis, I think, because if it had gotten to that point, he would have had to do something no other Jamaican Prime Minister has done, which is to invoke a public health emergency to prolong the life of the Parliament. That would have been...
No, but Ricardo, that wouldn't have been as problematic as you think because the world hadn't seen anything like this in 100 years. It would.
Tyrone, have you met Jamaican opposition parliamentarians? Have you met them?
No.
I guarantee you no pestilence would have stopped them from taking to the streets and declaring that the government was dictatorial. I'm telling you. Because Tyrone, look right now we're in a constitutionally protected window right now, with no problem, and people are already saying the extension or what they perceive to be an extension is dictatorial. So just imagine if it had actually gone over the constitutional limit.
Never detain yourself with the opinions of unreasonable men. I've always told you that, Ricardo.
Well, I would have to disregard the opinions of a lot of Jamaicans in Tyrone. I don't know.
Ricardo.
Absolutely.
Ricardo.
All right, my brother, I want to give somebody else a chance.
The last point, no one make you take it away.
All right, go on.
Together. Listen, good batting is taking place now. The wicket is good. One young boy the other day could have beat Lara Record. And he run, like him coward. And him run off I stage and nobody. And I hear critiques from the cricket industry say, me wouldn't do that. Me that try go after the record. No care who you beat. You beat him record. There's good batting now. There's a lot of place that the Prime Minister still have that is opening. Election not due till September and so forth. I hear them worried about
Cyril, we have to let you go now, man.
That's what the call.
The full length of the wicket now, man. We have to let you go. Thanks for the call, though, Errol. Have a great
Omala,
day.
you have 2 minutes. Make it quick.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh, I'm going to defend Lisa Anna in 2 minutes.
2 minutes, man. You're good. You can do it.
Okay, in the picture, right?
Yes.
Which would you say has the power in the picture? The gorilla or the person, the zookeeper?
But I said that. I said it could be interpreted the other way. I said that at the jump.
Yes, Ricardo did say that.
You can interpret it that she's saying she's the gorilla and she draped them. Yes.
Yeah, so when you really look at things.
No, but the other interpretation is just as valid.
It could be misconstrued, That's what you have to do when you're trying to communicate, Is what I'm about to say, can it be misconstrued and then be seen as offensive by some people? You have to be mindful of those things as a communicator.
Very much so. But as logical thinkers, we are not supposed to just be given spoon-fed things. We are supposed to think things through and come up with the answers. And if I'm the person with the lesser power, reaching out to somebody that is in government with power, that is showing me that they have created now the system that I could have paid, and I am reaching out that way. It cannot be perceived as I am other than just somebody smaller than the person is up there, and really it's no racism or these.
All right, I leave you with this because I want to try to get somebody else in. I don't know that I accept your premise that Lisa Hanna is automatically the smaller person in that interaction. But thanks for the call, Amalo. Sophia.
Hi. I'm glad
Hi, Sophia.
I had to pull over because
a Tyrone caused that door with him troublemaker self.
Absolutely.
No, man.
What I would say about the post is that it is ironic in light of the perception that persons have of, the leader on that side and the arguments surrounding certain things.
Oh.
So I find the post ironic.
Oh, dear. Oh, the race and the class and all of that. I didn't think I had not considered that. Yes, but that's what you mean.
But what I wanted to speak about, Tyrone used that word. I didn't quite hear the word, but it was a euphemism as to why, Miss Hannah seems to be a little bit more scantily clad nowadays. And I was looking at a recent post and I showed it to my secretary. And I was saying to her, wow, it seems as though Lisa Hanna really is stepping out of politics. What you think about this outfit? And my secretary was like, oh, yeah, it's a fabulous outfit. And, nothing beats a crop top and a palazzo pants with a blazer. And I'm like, so I was like, okay, yeah, it's a cute outfit. And then in my mind, though, I was thinking it's a little concerning that, at the end of the day, you're in a certain position and you'd want to be revered for your intellect and your smarts. And I find it, just curious that has never been, a part of our platform. Yes, there's some elements of women empowerment, but I noticed it too, and I just find it a little bit concerning that a woman of that stature is leaning into that more so than, I'm an intellectual woman, my career credentials are XYZ. I feel like that would be more aspirational in light of the context that we live in Jamaica, where, the reality is not, if it was so easy to get by on your looks, a lot of women would be better off, but that's not the case.
Let me ask you a quick one before we run out of time.
Tyrone, you're sure you want to ask one quick one? Tyrone, you're sure?
It's a quick one. Right. When you see the posts, when you see these posts, is the outfit what stands out to you? Is that what's the first thing that hit you?
For me, yes, because I'm like, this is a politician. This is not a prime minister. This could never be somebody trying to position themselves as a prime minister. And it comes to mind because I'm thinking, okay,
but she's not. But she's not trying. But she's not trying to position herself as a prime minister.
But she's never, rejected it whenever people suggest it, or whenever people are vocal about, this is the alternative that people could have had. I've never heard her come out and say, no, I don't see myself in that light. Silence could mean that she don't have an opinion on it, but to me, if you're not outrightly saying that this is not something that you ever aspire to be, then why not speak to that so that people could no longer see you in that light? So I don't see a prime minister as, yes, style, grace, elegance, but not somebody that's flaunting their six-pack every opportunity them get. You know what I mean?
Well, as somebody with a 10-pack, I not wait up with anybody's six-pack. I have to go. No,
Thank you.
I have to run, leave you without a time, but thanks for the call. Sonia Stewart. Watch Tyrone. you know what I reminded people of Tyrone the other day? When the conductor said to me, said, John O. Biggs, you drop. I hope that doctor is having a good life, because he deal with me away in the halfway tree. But not gonna lie.
Big up yourself, doctor.
Andrew Glenn Anderson, Boogs, the man behind the controls. My colleagues in the newsroom, led by our editor, Cara Powell. They're the best in the business. Our callers, contributors, our valued listeners, we appreciate you all so much. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Tyrone Reed. Good evening.
Good evening.